On the women's side, we have the number 2, number 3, and number 6 ranked women. Hassan being the number 2 ranked woman. Amane, the number 3 ranked woman, and Rosemary Wanjiru, the number 6 ranked women. On the men's side, it's quite interesting. We have, in the Road to Paris rankings, we have the number 1, number 3, number 4, and number 5 ranked Kenyan men here in Tokyo. It's an unbelievably strong field. Number 1 ranked, of course, Eliud Kipchoge. Number 3 ranked Vincent Kipkemoi Ngetich. Number 4 ranked Timothy Kiplagat, and number 5 ranked Benson Kipruto, all in the race. Our pacemakers in the race. Lead group is scheduled to go at 2:52 to 2:53 per kilometer, which would get them right down around the low 2:01 mark. For women, 3:11 to 3:12, we're looking at a time in the high 2:14s. Both of those would be course records. Governor Koike, 10 seconds away from firing their gun. That will make our race begin. And the Tokyo Marathon 2024 marathon race is underway. Tokyo Marathon, one of the most spectacular starts in the sport, directly Metropolitan Government Building. You know, given the size of Tokyo, the population, the economic power of the country, that is the equivalent to the government center of a lot of mid-sized countries. It's just a massive city with a massive marathon here. 37,500 people in the field in Tokyo. And our leaders making the first of the many right-hand turns in the first kilometer. Going a little bit deeper into our lead men's field. Oh, let's hold that. Let's go to the wheelchair race here. As expected, the favorite in the race, Tomoki Suzuki of Japan, national record holder, second here in Tokyo last year, taking it out hard. And right with him, Daniel Romanchuk of the United States. So kind of expect the race to be really between these two. The next strongest competition would be number 1107 Ryota Yoshida of Japan. But as they are just clearing the steepest downhill section of the course, now like a more gradual, longer downhill until about the 5 kilometer mark, Romanchuk is pushing it a little bit, but Suzuki is tucked in right behind him. Tokyo Marathon course, we'll see a little bit more of it later, but the course is quite flat. Most substantial elevation difference is within the first 5 kilometers here. Okay, we see coming up and joining the leaders. In fact, taking the lead, number 1102, we have Hiroki Nishida of Japan. Third place here in Tokyo 2 years ago. Also up in contention, Sho Watanabe of Japan. Number 1008. All right, going back to our league group of men. As I was about to say, we have, in addition to the Kipchoge, Chalu, and Kiplagat trio, we have 2 really interesting additions to the field. Vincent Kipkemoi Ngetich and Benson Kipruto. Ngetich was second in Berlin behind Kipchoge last fall in his marathon debut, 2:03.13. Very close, actually, 31 seconds behind Kipchoge, and was closing, another kilometer or 2, and it might have been a very close race. Kipruto also second. He's a past Boston and Chicago winner, and in Chicago last fall he was second behind the world record set by the late great Kelvin Kiptum. Expect those to be 5 of our strongest contenders, but it's a very deep field with a lot of people under the 2:05 mark. Including Timothy Kiplagat, and a potential dark horse in the race, Bethwel Kibet. More on them later. Beautiful view, as you can see. Incredible conditions here in Tokyo. Really get a sense of the scale of the city from that shot. Just a couple more corners to get out of the Nishi Shinjuku area here, and then athletes head out onto the main roads. And very quickly, we'll get into that downhill section of the course. to our lead group. Most of our favorites, most of the heavy contenders are in that shot. Saw Kiplagat, Kipchoge, of course, tucked in right behind the Pacers. Our defending champion, Chaludeso, off to the side. Looks like dropping off the pack a bit in orange is Beidan Kariuki, longtime Japanese resident. Just ahead of Kariuki, also off the back of the pack, another Japanese resident Kenyan. Benjamin Gandu. But yeah, most of our favorites are in that lead group. Second group, we haven't really talked about the pacing for the second group. The second group, as you can see back there, is going for that 2:05:50 time that the Japanese men will need to qualify for, or to take the third spot on the Paris Olympics team. They're scheduled to go at 2:57 per kilometer. 2:57 to 2:58 per kilometer, which would put them right down around the Japanese national record of 2:04:56 if they're able to sustain that. And again, our lead group of men here, which even as we're looking at one by one, our lead group of men scheduled to go very close to 2:01 flat, looking at a projected finish time right down in the low 2:01 range. That would be substantially under Kipchoge's course record and Japanese all-comers record, fastest marathon ever run in Japan of 2:02:40. A shot here of our Japanese field. This is the second pack of men, and again, they are targeting 2:05:50. On the pace is a little bit hotter than that. They're going to be looking at running national record pace, very close to national record pace. 2:04:56 is the national record. But anybody here who runs, just about anybody here, I should say, who runs 2:05:50 will take the third spot on the the Paris Olympic team, away from the third place finisher in last fall's Olympic trials, Suguru Osako, the 3,000 and 5,000 meter national record holder. The national record holder in the marathon, Kengo Suzuki, is in the race here. He's had a rough last couple of years. His only marathon since running a 28 here in Tokyo 2 years ago was a DNF at the Olympic trials last fall. So this would have to be a pretty substantial comeback for him to pick up the third spot on the Olympic team. His partner Mao Ichiyama is on the women's team. She was the second place finisher at the trials, so he's hoping to join her and go to the Olympics together. But yeah, it's very early, as you can see. This is a very familiar sight in the Japanese marathons, with these massive packs of runners all rolling together in Shinkansen style. Cutting to our lead women's pack here. Also a familiar sight here at the Tokyo Marathon. Massive pack of women here. This is not, I believe this is not necessarily the lead women's pack. Okay, we do see our top Japanese woman, Hitomi Niiya, in there. Several of the, she's going for a national record here, the national record 2:18:59, which was set in January at the Osaka Women's Marathon by Honami Maeda. Several of the Ethiopian women in that pack with her, but we will get a shot of these as well. As you can see, a lot of amateur guys at this level, the sub 2:20 level in Japan, and they are all almost a fall there. They're kind of forming windbreak all the way around Niiya here. Okay, some clear separation here. The main contenders in the men's race. People for whom 2:01 pace is a little bit too hot, dropping back, likely to be subsumed into that second pack that you can see back in the distance in the not too distant future here. Men kind of on the last segment of the downhill of the course, just before 5 kilometers or just around 5 kilometers. The course does level out, and it's very flat for the majority of the course. That middle section near between 20 and 25 kilometers where they cross the Sumida River, there is a series of small undulations there, nothing with major elevation difference, but it's just a very steady up and down. And because it's an out and back, they hit that twice, so that does offer a little bit of variation, maybe a little bit more challenge as it's getting towards the later parts of the race, into the second half of the race. That can help to freshen things up and get them ready for that fast out and back to the final turnaround point at 37.5 kilometers. In the front row behind the Pacers, we do see world champion Victor Kiplagat of Uganda. Of course, Eliud Kipchoge. Four other contenders. I did see Bazizu Asmare of Ethiopia, 2:04.57 best from Amsterdam 2 years ago. Just off to screen left behind Kiplagat. And we'll get back to the men at 5 kilometers here in our wheelchair race. Again, just as expected, Suzuki of Japan, number 1005, and Romanchuk of the US, number 1001. Inching away from the rest of the field. They're approaching that 10-kilometer point, and at the 10-kilometer mark, the leader will receive that 8-point bonus in the Abbott World Marathon Majors scoring. Again, this is a little bit different dynamic from past years where Marcel Hug has been the heavy-duty favorite, especially at the 10-kilometer point, but we do see these two together here. Ten-kilometer point in Akihabara, the land of electronics. Just past that, they will hit the first of the 180-degree turnaround points on the course near Ueno Park. Finish line of the first Ekiden in Japan. Ekiden, the road relays that make up the bread and butter of Japanese distance running. Not quite in sight, that finish point, not quite in sight of the turnaround point, but very close. Just over 100 meters to go to that 10-kilometer checkpoint. 8 bonus points in the Abbott World Marathon Majors. Standings on the line here. Both Suzuki and Romanchuk starting to hammer now. 10 kilometers there. It was very close. I think Romanchuk got it by centimeters there. They were almost side by side, but it looked as though Romanchuk had a very small lead. And he has since pulled into the front. We'll get confirmation of that. And just back to our lead man, just in time for 5 kilometers. Target split here is something in the 14:20 to 14:25 range. And it's 14:16. 14:16 at 5 kilometers for our lead man. A little bit faster than anticipated, but that first 5 kilometers does have downhill, so not really a big deal. Projected finish time for that would be 2 hours and 24 seconds. So world record pace in that first 5 kilometers. But again, it's very early in the race. Don't get too excited. There was a potential downhill in that 5 kilometers. So we'll expect things to level out a little bit here. Again, 14:16 at 5 kilometers. Okay, so in our lead pack here, some of the big names in the lead pack. Again, our three favorites are all up there: Eliud Kipchoge, Vincent Kipkemoi Ngetich, Timothy Kiplagat, Benson Kipruto. So a pack of 7. Pretty much everyone that you would expect to see. Everyone who's really in contention to try to stay with Kipchoge on the faster pace than anything that they've done before. It could be one thing that's kind of interesting here is that Vincent Kipkemoi Ngetich, he finished 31 seconds, only 31 seconds behind Kipchoge in Berlin, but was coming up from behind and closing. So, at that point, with Kipchoge being that close to him in front and closing on him, it probably gave him a lot of confidence, but it was his marathon debut. And there's always a problem if you have too good a debut of being a little bit too confident in your second attempt. So we will see what happens in the later stages of the race as he goes out on this very aggressive pace here. Again, world record pace through 5 kilometers, but don't get too excited about that. We'll see. I think at 10 kilometers, we'll have a much better idea of what kind of pace they're really on. Okay,
Meu nome é Glaucio Campos, eu sou treinador. Eu estou aqui direto da largada da maratona de Tóquio, minha 10ª maratona. Por aqui está todo mundo nos preparativos, faltando alguns minutos para a largada. Vai ser, a temperatura está boa, está em torno de 6, 7 graus, está agradável para correr a prova, ideal. O tempo está aberto, sem uma nuvem no céu. E é isso aí. Eu quero aproveitar e mandar um abraço para todos os meus alunos que estão no Brasil, que estão torcendo por mim. E um grande abraço para minha família que está aqui, a minha esposa Daniela e meu filho Léo, que estão na torcida. Eu quero mandar um beijão para eles. E também quero aproveitar e desejar uma ótima prova, uma ótima maratona para todo mundo. E que todo mundo tenha dia excelente aí.
You can see Bedouin Kariuki has been picked up by the second pack. It's tucked in at the front there. Benjamin Gandu, who had gone out with that lead group, is way back in the distance behind this second group. I said a little bit earlier, almost anybody could take that third spot on the Olympic team. Anybody who did not run and qualify for the Olympic trials would not be eligible for that. So anybody, for example, doing their debut marathon here would not pick up that third spot. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we get back to the pack here, but back to our lead men. Timothy Kiplagat and Eliud Kipchoge still in the front, right behind those 3 pacers. Others in lead pack: Benson Kipruto, Bazazu Asmare, our defending champion Chaludeso, several others. View there of Tokyo Dome. The course does make a turn right at Tokyo Dome. They get into a little bit more sheltered. If there were wind, it would be a bigger deal, but they get into a little bit more sheltered road once they make that turn. This wide road, Yasukuni Dori, is quite exposed, but wind today, not an issue at all at this point. The other runner in that lead pack, I did not get a chance to say earlier, was Tsegaye Getachew, Ethiopia, a winner in Amsterdam in 2022. So our main contenders there in that lead group. And here at last is a shot of our lead women's group here. Quite a few men going along with this as well. Looks like front running there. Behind the pacers, we have Situme Asefa Kebede. Right next to her, Tigist Getachew. And just right tucked in right behind them, of course, bib number 51. The previous favorite for the race, Sifan Hassan of the Netherlands. Hassan's still been a little bit cagey about what her intentions. Oh, sorry, also, I should say, right there, is our defending champion. Before I get to that, our defending champion, Rosemary Wanjiru. Speaks fluent Japanese after winning last year, gave a really heartwarming, very touching interview in Japanese, saying how much it meant to win marathon in the land that had been her home for so long. Going back to Hassan, she's been a little bit cagey about what her intentions are for the Paris Olympics. You know, she could run the marathon, she could do some combination thereof, and said she today won't be the determining point in that decision. She's going to go back onto the track after Tokyo and see how that goes and make some decisions based on that. We talked to her management a couple days ago. They said the same thing. So we'll hope for a good race from her here. If she chooses to run the marathon at the Olympics, you will see her there. The idea has been floated a little bit of her trying to do the 5,000, 10,000, and marathon triple, but remains to be seen. So our lead women's group 5K split, sorry to not get that at the time, was 16:16. That's pretty conservative. That's 2:17:16 projected finish, so a little bit slower than was anticipated. And it's a shot again of our lead group of women, several Ethiopians in there, but also Japan's Hitomi Niiya. 10,000 meter and national record holder. She bypassed taking a shot at the Olympics, trying to qualify for the Olympics in favor of trying to get the national record here. She came kind of close last year in Houston with a 2:19:24, but the bar was raised slightly beyond the 2:19:12 level, which had been the national record at that point, a long-time record set by Mizuki Noguchi. That was raised to 2:18:59 in January, as I said earlier, by Honami Maeda. Niiya hasn't performed that well over distances longer than 10 kilometers when she's had people running ahead of her. I think all of her good races, half marathon and marathon, have been no real competition and very evenly paced by male friends. And she said prior to this that in the past she has kind of handed her performances to others, like responsibility for her performances to others. But I think kind of inspired by Maeda's brilliant solo front running in Osaka to get the national record, she said she wanted to really do it herself this time. She does have a dedicated male pace team here as well, so we'll see if she's able to perform this type of race with multiple runners in a faster pack ahead of her. It's always been a difficult situation for her in the past. Okay, our lead pack of men really shaking down now. We've lost 3 off the back of that. Kipchoge and Timothy Kiplagat, both maintaining the position that they've been in all the way so far, directly behind the pacers. I believe you've got just behind Kiplagat, I believe you've got Vincent Kipkemoi Ngetich, who was second in his marathon debut in Berlin, 2:03:13 behind Kipchoge last fall. It's not really a surprise to see the lead pack break down this quickly. It's a pace very few to none of the people in the race have run before. We have quite a few, 8 men in the field who have run 204 times, and both Ngetich and Kiplagat have run 203. But there's a world of difference between that and going out world record pace, 201 flat pace. So the people who did go out with the group who have fallen off are in kind of a tough situation. If they stick together, they could share a little bit of load, but as you can see in the distance back there, each of them is on their own. It is already a little bit of a distance back to the second pack. We'll see if they continue to run alone or get run down by that pack a little bit later in the race. Lead quartet and our pacers coming up to 10 kilometers. This section of the course, going up to this turnaround point, just past 10 kilometers, is the newest addition to the course. There with lead vehicles in its first edition on that course 2 years ago when Kipchoge ran, but they've sorted out the logistics of that, and I expect smooth sailing here in Kipchoge's return to Tokyo. Shot back to our second pack. Again, this is primarily a Japanese pack, but we can see up near the front Simon Kariuki, another longtime Japanese resident. I believe there was I think Haimro Alame of Israel is also. Oh no, sorry, my mistake. That is Angela Mbele of Ethiopia in the front row. Beran Karaoke also up there. And at least 24 Japanese men. Unfortunately, one of them who has dropped back, you can see the runner in the distance, is Ichitaka Yamashita, who ran 2:05:51 here in Tokyo last year. His time there is the one that everybody else has to beat today. Fortunately, it's not Yamashita's day. Our lead group now, kilometers. Kilometers, 28:30 on the nose. So that second 5 kilometers is actually a little bit faster. We had 14:16 for the first, 14:14 for the second 5 kilometers. 2 hours, 15-second projected finish time, so still world record pace. A little bit of a sloppy water station there by our number 2 seed, Victor Kipkemoi Ngetich of Kenya. But the big four, all still in contention here. Eliud Kipchoge, Ngetich, Timothy Kiplagat, and Benson Kipruto making up that lead quartet at 10 kilometers on world record pace. Projected finish time, again at 10 kilometers, 2 hours and 15 seconds. Second pace group. Of course, there are some people ahead of them. Second pace group now approaching 10 kilometers. And that's 25 at 10 kilometers. For the Japanese group, slightly faster for that 5 kilometers. Projected finish time now, 2 hours, 5 minutes, 32 seconds. So building up a little bit of a margin on that 2 hours, 5 minutes, 50 second. That mark that they will need, anybody here would need to pick up the 3rd spot on the Olympic team. Some confusion there. One of the pacers just stopping dead, trying to find his drink at the table. Not ideal drink table technique, but you know, especially in the early stages of the race when these packs are really big, there's a lot of chaos at these stations. And now our lead women's group, 9.5 kilometers, so also approaching that 10-kilometer mark here. Looks like at least 5 women in this group. Sifan Hassan, a favorite here in the race, just off towards screen left there. Currently running, looks like 5th among the women in the race. Our current leader, number 56, Sutume Assefa Kebede of Ethiopia, but several others right there with her, including our defending champion, last year's winner, Rosemary Wanjiru of Kenya. First 4 women are staying pretty close together. You can see a little bit of a gap back to, in the midst of that pack, to Hassan in green. But not really any cause for concern at this point. Well, as I say that, you know, Hassan doesn't look great at the moment. She's showing a bit of struggle there on her face. She did say there was a big difference between, in a pre-race interview, she did say that there was a lot of difference between her first and second marathons. First marathon didn't experience any pain. Second marathon experienced a lot of pain. So she looks like she's currently going a little bit of trouble, but we'll see what the rest of the race holds. 10 kilometers, 32:24. 32:24 for our lead women. Again, a faster second 5 kilometers. Projected finish time currently 2:16:43. So not quite course record, not quite Japanese all-comers record pace yet, but it is edging faster after a relatively conservative first 5 kilometers. Yeah, being our lead group, Kebede, Wanjiru, Tsegaye Getachew, Hassan. A slight gap back to Salpeter of Israel and Betsy Saina of the United States, a late addition to the field. Our lead man in the wheelchair now, coming up to 20 kilometers, is Japan's Tomoki Suzuki, kind of as expected. Goes through 20 kilometers, 38:32. Yeah, Suzuki is the Japanese national record holder with the best of 1:18:37 in Oita wheelchair marathon in 2021. He's just crossed the Sumida River for the out and back down to Monzen Nakacho. And this is really the hilliest section of the course. There's no substantial uphill on the Tokyo course, but a series of small undulations here on this out and back section until they cross back over the river. Okay, here's the standings in our men's race. As you can see, it's really a group of 4: Kipchoge, Kiplagat, Kipruto, and Ngetich in that lead quartet. A few stragglers kind of stuck between the 2 packs. And then about a minute and 15 seconds back from this lead quartet is the main chase pack containing most of the Japanese field. Again, three pacers, 4 men in the race at this point, and it's the 4 favorites. No real surprises there at this stage in the race. And again, Kind of the same situation in the women's race, where we do have the 5 favorites, Hassan, Amane, Wanjiru, Tigist, and Kebede, all up in that lead group. One correction there. Tigist Abayechew is not in that lead group. Slight gap back to her. In the lead group is Meseret Getachew of Ethiopia. Just back from that, saltpeter of Israel, and late addition to the field, Betsy Saina of the United States. Very fast pace for both of them, especially for Saina, who dropped out of the U.S. Olympic trials just a few weeks ago and kind of regrouped, got into the Tokyo field, and is going for something big here today. It's less than a minute back to the second group, which includes the top Japanese woman, Hitomi Niiya. A little bit too early to say, but we could see the scenario where some people from that second group, do later in the race make up that less than 1 minute deficit to this lead group. Anybody from here slows down. Anybody from that group, they will make contact quite soon. Lead man going through 13 kilometers in the Nihonbashi district of central Tokyo. The actual Nihonbashi, the actual bridge, which they will cross here momentarily, traditionally the 0 point on distance measurements on Japanese maps, and also the 1 kilometer to go point on the Hakone Ekiden course, Japan's legendary university men's road relay, the most watched race in the world. And our lead group of men there crossing the historic Nihonbashi Bridge. Just past that bridge, they will make a left-hand turn and start the trip up towards Asakusa, popular tourist destination, and the second turnaround point there in front of Kaminarimon Gate. Massive lead group here, or sorry, a massive Japanese group, I should say here. A few faces you can in the black hat. Oh, sorry, right there in the sunglasses is our half marathon national record holder Yusuke Ogura. Just to his left, just behind Kariuki in the black hat, Yuma Hattori, who was a member of the Japanese marathon team at the Tokyo Olympics. Spent the last month plus training for this in Kenya. Kenya Sonoda, actually a Japanese man whose first name is Kenya, is also in that group. He ran 2:05:59 here in Tokyo last year. And yeah, kind of as expected, the stragglers off that lead group have kind of come together into a group there, but are drifting back towards this second group. This chase group now also crossing Nihonbashi. No change here. Our lead group, the 4 favorites, heavy-duty favorites in the race. Timothy Kiplagat, Eliud Kipchoge, Benson Kipruto, Vincent Kipkemoi Ngetich. All rolling on world record pace at 10 kilometers. Just going through 14 kilometers now. We'll get the 15 kilometer split and get an idea where they stand relative to that world record. As I said at the start of the broadcast, despite the very sunny conditions here, it's quite cool. It was 6 degrees at the start, and it's only expected to get up to about 11 degrees Celsius by the finish. So, with a lot of wind, It's excellent conditions. I ran down to the start point in the marathon at about 4:30 this morning, and it was quite cold, and there was a northerly wind at that point, but that wind has died down, as you can see from the flags and vegetation along the side of the course. Not really much wind to speak of right now, but over the course of the race, a southerly wind is expected to pick up. It should be about 4 meters per second, and that would create a bit of a headwind going down to that final turnaround just past 37 kilometers, but a moderate tailwind on the return trip back up to the finish line. There's a little bit of minor undulation at this point in the race, but really the only substantial ups and downs anybody's going to face beyond that initial descent does come in that section between about 20 and 25 kilometers on the opposite side of the Sumida River. Lead man getting closer and closer to that 15. Two people we haven't mentioned here. We talked a little bit earlier about kind of the connection here between the Tokyo Marathon and the Olympics. Japanese men, if they run under that time 2:05:50, will pick up the third spot on the Olympic team. Several of the people up here and in the front of the women's race, Tokyo will play into how their national federations are selecting their teams. Everybody who's in the lead group for the men or the women would be somebody who'd be in contention for that Olympic team. Two people we haven't mentioned here, the only athletes in the race who are actually really shooting for the Olympic standard are in the women's race. The Canadian half marathon national record holder, Andrea Sakafian, and the Mongolian half marathon national record holder, Khishigsakihan Galbadrakh, are running together, both of them trying to clear that 2:26:50 qualifying standard. A little bit more on them later, as our lead man just about to hit 15 kilometers. Pace trio, lead quartet, 15 kilometers, 42:52. 42:52, projecting to 2 hours, 35 seconds at the finish. Dead even right now with the world record, so a little bit slower that last 5 kilometers. Again, that's this is a bit hotter than what they were anticipating. So not too much of a surprise to see that starting to drift back more towards the 2:01 mark, but still dead eater pace at this stage in the race. Yep, there you have our 5 kilometer lap times. As you can see, that last 5 kilometers was the slowest in the race so far. Not that 14:22 5 kilometer split is slow, but yeah, the pace is getting a little bit back more towards what was anticipated here. And this big chase pack. Also now approaching 15 kilometers. Japanese men hoping to see a 15 kilometer split under 44:30 to stay on track for that time they need to take the third spot on the Olympic team. Yuma Hattori there off on the left hand side of the screen in the black hat. People falling off one by one. We have Masaya Taguchi here from the Honda team. His teammate Naoki Koyama, the winner of the Olympic trials. Just behind him, Takumi Oishi, coached by London Olympian Arata Fujiwara. Jun Nobuto from the Mazda corporate team. It's when you look at the depth of Japanese men's marathoning, the size of this pack of guys running at this kind of pace, it's really, part of it is just this do or die attitude. That's the pace you have to run. Everybody goes. Most of them will fall off, but a few people will have success. That's part of the secret of success that we've been seeing. With last week in Osaka, 4 Japanese men running 2:06, just that kind of strategic. Here we have our standings in the men's race at 15 kilometers. As you can see, lead quartet. That the people who have fallen off that lead group Six people who have fallen off that lead group have come together to form a secondary group, but they're just 15 seconds or so ahead of the large Japanese chase group. So do expect to see that kind of solidify into one larger group, not too far away from now. Kipchoge looking very calm, focused, just looking straight ahead. And one of our pacers has dropped right at the 16-kilometer mark. Not sure that was planned. Looks like he's experiencing, looks like he's got a little bit of a limp there, experiencing some discomfort there. 2 pacers left. So our lead group now is approaching the second turnaround on the Tokyo Marathon course. Unlike front-running Japanese man right now, in the center, in the black hat, Yuma Hattori, Tokyo Olympics marathon team member. Again, he's kind of struggled since the Tokyo Olympics. He had really serious issues with the heat in the Tokyo Olympics and has not been in the same kind of form since then. After the New Year Ekiden Corporate Men's National Road Relay Championships on January 1st, he went to Kenya to do altitude training in preparation for Tokyo here. Did a half marathon in Spain in the mid to high 62-minute range, which was not close to his PB, but a pretty good show of form. So far looking very good. Hattori was also the winner of the 2018 Fukuoka International Marathon, 2:07:27. That's still his PB. Best since then was a 2:09:47 last year in Osaka. That was only good enough for 34th place. Okay, yeah, just before we cut away there, we did start to see our number 2 ranked man, Vincent Kipkemoi Ngetich, just like a stride behind the pack. While we were looking at the Japanese pack there, that's lengthened a little bit, maybe 2 or 3 meters. And as we said earlier in the broadcast, Vincent Kipkemoi Ngetich did make his debut last fall in Berlin, took 2nd place in a brilliant 2:03:13, closing down the distance on Kipchoge late in the race. But yeah, going out a little bit slower and finishing hard is quite a bit different story from going out at this kind of pace. It looks like he's gotten over whatever the issue was there. He's gotten a little bit closer back into contact with that lead group. But only his 2nd marathon. This is unexplored territory for him, running this kind of pace. Timothy Kiplagat, the 3rd fastest man in the field, with a 2:03:50 in the green cap there. Also, Benson Kipruto passed 2021 Boston Marathon, 2022 Chicago Marathon winners, 2nd in Chicago in 2:04:02 last fall, in a race that saw the world record fall. Shot here of Asakusa. As you can see, loaded with tourists out on this beautiful day, Kaminarimon, the gate into that area. Runners will approach from the right, make this turn where that cycle is going right now, get a view of Tokyo Skytree, and then make another quick right to head back down. So this is kind of the gentlest of the 4 turnarounds on the course. And again, a long-time popular feature of the Tokyo Marathon course since its original version back in 2007. Lead quartet and our two pacers making the turn now. Big crowds, as you would expect nothing less. In Tokyo, in Japan, races always have massive crowds. It's a very popular spectator sport, one of the big spectator sports in the country. They've made that second right-hand turn, now making the return trip back towards central Tokyo. In a few kilometers, they'll cross the river for that out and back on the opposite side of the Sumida River. And in our wheelchair race up front in the men's race, no surprise again to see last year's runner-up national record holder Tomoki Suzuki way out front. Suzuki just about to hit 30 kilometers here. And here we go, 30 kilometers, 58:15, excellent pace for him. In terms of recent times, you know, there is like almost 6-minute difference between Suzuki and Daniel Romanchuk of the United States. I kind of thought Romanchuk might be a little bit closer to Suzuki still at this point in the race, but looks like it's going to be a one-man show from here all the way to the finish for national record holder Tomoki Suzuki of Japan. Okay, we've just gotten a word that there was some issue with some of the women's wheelchairs going off course, and a couple people have received disqualifications. Disqualified Jenna Fesmeyer of the United States, Christy Dawes of Australia, and then also in the men's race, Shoki Yasuoka of Japan also disqualified. I don't have details yet on exactly what happened there, but probably a mistake at one of the 180-degree turns. We'll try to get more information on that later. But yeah, disqualifications in the wheelchair race. In the men's race, Shoki Yasuoka of Japan. In the women's race, Jenna Fesmeyer of the United States and Christy Dawes of Australia. And our lead men now, getting close to 20 kilometers. Very shortly here, they'll be making that left turn to go over the bridge. This is probably the most substantial climb on the course. This bridge across the river, they do hit it going both ways. And again, as I said a couple times, once they make that left-hand turn, go across the bridge to the far side, there's very steady, small undulations all the way back to the bridge. Nothing serious, but because it is mountain back, there's a lot of them, and you do feel it after a while. Well, it's good to see our number 2 seed, Ngetich, has shaken off whatever that issue was there that saw him drop back a few meters earlier. He's now running directly behind the pacers next to Timothy Kiplagat. Actually, you know, now that I say that, it looks as though Kipchoge has actually dropped a step or so behind the lead pack. Not much cause for concern at this point, but it's a change from his position up to this point. Up to this point, Eliud has been running directly behind the pacers, so to see him drop to the rear of the pack could be the tiniest cause for concern. We'll see how he is once we get back. Our Japanese pack here. Still seeing Yuma Hattori in the black hat as our front-running Japanese man. Oh, and there we go. Yes, going back as I thought. We're starting to see some distance here between the younger competition and the great Eliud Kipchoge, just coming up to 20 kilometers. Now they're hitting this first, probably the most substantial climb on the course, this bridge, going across the Sumida River. Kipchoge still looking calm and collected, but clearly losing touch now with the lead group here. What do you make of this? One of the pacers also struggling a little bit with that climb as they come up towards 20 kilometers. We'll just get that 20 kilometer split and then come back to what we might be seeing here. 20 kilometers, 57:14. 57:14, projecting to 2 hours and 45 seconds. So they've dropped off world record pace. Okay, one of the pacers has dropped back to stay with Eliud. So yeah, the question now is if this pacer continues to accompany Kipchoge, Kipchoge is able to keep moving. The guys ahead of him are all in very uncharted territory pace-wise, so you know, we're still early in the race. It's quite likely, or it's quite possible, I should say, that all three of them could blow up, be unable to sustain this pace once they pass 30 kilometers. If Kipchoge is able to keep going like this, could still pull off the win here. Could equally be done. We shall see. And cutting back to our Japanese pack here. Also approaching 20 kilometers. Okay, there's a sighting there, now up in the front row, in the sunglasses in the center of the screen. National record holder of Japan, Kengo Suzuki, 2:04:56. He actually has the two fastest marathons ever run by a Japanese man. His 2:04:56 at Lake Biwa in 2021, and he ran a 2:05:28 here in Tokyo 2 years ago. And kind of as I said, he's had his share of ups and downs, mostly downs since then. But running great here as they approach 20 kilometers. All the way on the left in blue, Koki Takada, two-time 2:09 man. Half marathon, there is Koki Takada in blue running next to Yuma Hattori, the Tokyo Olympian. And this main chase pack coming up to 20 kilometers. Chase pack 59:40. Okay, 59:40 at 20. Current standings there, Kipchoge is 5 seconds back from the lead trio at 20 kilometers. The kind of interim pack that came together is now only 11 seconds ahead of this chase pack. They were 15 seconds ahead at 15 kilometers. So yeah, the ground between this group and the smaller group ahead of them is shrinking. Kind of expect them maybe by 30 kilometers or so to close that up. Halfway up front. Yep, halfway. 1 hour, 20 seconds. So still projecting to a 2 hour and 40 second finish time. Of course, just off world record pace. Vincent Kipkemoi Ngetich has dropped back 2 seconds off this group as they're going over some of these small undulations. Kipchoge another 12 seconds back. So Kipchoge is losing ground pretty quickly here. But, you know, keep in mind when he won here, his course record 2:02:40, and he's well ahead of that pace right now. So, and none of these guys has run, none of the guys ahead of him has run under 2:03 before. Benson Kipruto has not broken 2:04. They're all very strong. You know, these are the second, third, and fourth seeds in the field ahead of him, so no jokes at all. But we're still in the early stages here. Relatively speaking, the early stages just haven't gone through halfway. Still a lot of road ahead. A lot can happen. Yeah, so there's our splits. Lead duo, Timothy Kiplagat and Benson Kipruto. On a 2 hour, 40 second pace, Vincent Kipkemoi Ngetich, just 2 seconds back. And another 12 seconds back to the great Eliud Kipchoge. who has drifted just over 2:01 marathon pace. So still, you know, I would say Kipchoge is actually running about what the initial race plan was, although he's on his own now, unable to stay with that pacer. While the leaders here, the lead trio, is running substantially faster than what was anticipated. Okay, our lead women's group also approaching 20 kilometers. Okay, yeah, look. Yeah, Hassan is all the way at the back of this group, so she's still in contact with the group, but you know, a fairly substantial distance there between her and the leaders. Our lead women currently, we have Situme Asaf Kebede of Ethiopia, world champion Amani Beriso Shankule, also of Ethiopia, and our defending champ Rosemary Wanjiru. So earlier, I'm not seeing the earlier member of this group, Meseret Getachew, here. It is difficult to pick with all of the amateur Japanese men surrounding them, but I'm not seeing her there. So it looks as though we have Amane Wanjiru and Situme Kebede in our up in the front, and then at the very back of this pack, a few seconds back, Sifan Hassan of the Netherlands. Yeah, it looks pretty clear in this shot that we have lost Meseret Getachew from this lead group. So lead group now, yeah, there we have the 4 people in this lead group. Lead group of women just approaching 20 kilometers. Rosemary Wanjiru, when she won last year in 2:16:28, her PB did say that she thinks she's capable of running much faster time. Was only 6th at the Budapest World Championships in hot conditions. And this is her first really serious attempt since then. Pushing a little bit here as they're approaching 20 kilometers. Looks as though she's going to get the lead split as they hit the 20 kilometer mark. Yep, and Rosemary Wanjiru leading the top group of women through 20 kilometers, 1:04:45. Sifan Hassan 4 seconds back from the lead trio in 1:04:49. So our lead trio projecting to a 2:16:36 finish time at 20 kilometers, with Sifan Hassan just a few seconds back from that. Yep, up front, as the lead trio continues to go through this kind of rolling section of the course. Still no change. Ngetich has come back again. That's the second time that we've seen him slip back a little bit and then return. So up front, Timothy Kiplagat, Benson Kipruto, and Vincent Kipkemoi Ngetich, the number 2, 3, and 4 ranked men in the field. Eliud Kipchoge really losing ground now. It's quite far back. We'll get a better idea of his split at 25 kilometer, but it looks pretty clear that he has fallen off the initial planned pace. You know, these guys, the lead trio, are running a little bit faster than what was anticipated, or what was planned, I should say. But it does look like the great Eliud Kipchoge has slowed. So pretty soon here, this group will hit the third of the turnaround points on the course and then make the return trip back towards central Tokyo. All three guys here very strong. We'll come back to that. Going to our lead women's group here. After kind of pushing to get the top spot at 20 kilometers, defending champ Rosemary Wanjiru has dropped back a little bit at the drink table. A long time front runner, Tsegaye Getachew of Ethiopia. Back up front, but right on her heels. World champion, Budapest world champion, Amani Beriso Shankule of Ethiopia. It's a very tight shot there of Kibet and Amani running together. Again, just a step or two back to Rosemary Wanjiru. Can't see Sifan Hassan in that shot. Oh, there she is. Okay, yes, she's just off the back of that pack, so get the halfway split here momentarily. Okay, our lead trio of women, 108.15. 108.15 at halfway, projecting to 2:16.30. So they're definitely pushing the pace a little bit here. I would say Hassan is probably running a consistent pace with what they were doing earlier, just looking at the projection of their finish time. But lead women on 2:16 at halfway. Men just making that turnaround and hitting 25 kilometers. Kipchoge steadily losing ground, the great Eliud losing ground to the front trio. We'll get a measurement of the distance here at the turnaround point, but shortly after that is 25 kilometers, so we'll get official splits at that point, get an idea of how much Eliud has dropped off pace here. So at this turnaround point, just before 24 kilometers, 23.95 kilometers, to be precise. And course record holder, Eliud Kipchoge. "56 seconds back." So, okay, yeah, I would say over the last 5 kilometers or so, Kipchoge's lost almost a minute to the leaders. And in the leaders, again, I think for the third time that we've seen it, Ngetich has lost a few strides. This may be the biggest gap we've seen there between him and the other contenders. Benson Kipruto also losing a stride or two there. Timothy Kiplagat maintaining position right behind the remaining pacer. Benson Kipruto doesn't look to be in too much trouble right now, but does look like Vincent Ngetich is starting to lose some ground. Okay, cut back to our women's lead pack. Sifan Hassan still locked onto the back of that men's pack, and again, I think just looking at the splits that the women ahead of her have run, that last 5 kilometers was a little bit faster for them. So I think she's still running a consistent pace, locked in with all of these amateur Japanese guys, and the other 3 women may be pushing it a little bit harder, but she's still just still in contact in the context of this this overall pack. And as you can see there, even her last 5 kilometers was a little bit faster, 16:10 versus a 16:14 for the previous 5 kilometers. So yeah, doesn't look fantastic, but doesn't look to be in serious trouble either. Okay, Japanese men now making that turnaround, and we can see quite a few people have dropped off now. In fact, it looks like they've caught up to, as kind of expected to happen, they've caught up to that secondary group of 5 people who had dropped off the lead group. Kyohei Hosoya there has dropped off the lead group. He's a 25 kilometers for what's now a lead duo of Timothy Kiplagat and Benson Kipruto. Okay, 1:11:39.
I'm not sure it's 100% accurate, but we'll try to get an accurate split there. Okay, yep, 1:11:39 was correct at 25 kilometers. Two hours and 56-second projected finish. It's a little bit slower. They have slowed down a little bit, but even so, the pack is coming apart now. Pacers out, so it's down to two men racing now, just past 25 kilometers. Timothy Kiplagat, 2:03:50 for second in Rotterdam 2022, followed closely by Benson Kipruto, proven winner with wins in both Boston and Chicago, and a second place in Chicago last year in 2:04:02. So in terms of racing credentials, Kipruto may be a little more solid, but Kiplagat does have the faster time and a win or two in kind of second-tier marathons. So some very dramatic racing ahead, to be sure. Our number 2 seed, Vincent Kipkemoi Ngetich of Kenya, still in the picture, but just drifting back, centimeter by centimeter as the kilometers are going by here. They're wheelchair men. Again, Japanese national record holder Tomoki Suzuki out front at 40 kilometers. And going back to our lead women's pack, still a trio up front behind the two male pacers here. No change. We have Sutume Asefa Kebede of Ethiopia in blue. Just off her right shoulder, world champ Amane Beriso Shankule of Ethiopia, and just off her right shoulder, our defending champ Rosemary Wanjiru of Kenya. But lurking at the back, still in touch, looks like she's having no problem, Sifan Hassan, the London and Chicago champ, multiple Olympic and World Championships medalist. So don't count her out yet. And I believe we're just about to cut back to see Japan's Tomoki Suzuki take in the men's wheelchair race. But as we do that, the women are approaching 25 kilometers, so we'll get you those splits when they arrive. Here we are, as I said, the last kilometer of the Tokyo Marathon course. There's almost no street in Tokyo with cobblestones, and somehow they found the one street that does to make it the last kilometer of the Tokyo Marathon. So not a big deal for the runners. It's a very smooth surface, but a little bit of a different experience for the wheelchair athletes. Tomoki Suzuki all alone. He's on track to substantially improve his second place time here last year. He was runner-up to Marcel Hug in Hug's course record-breaking win last year. Suzuki last year clocked 1:24:31. Should be well under that today, but not quite on a par with his 1:18:37 national record. Still, outstanding win here for Tomoki Suzuki in the Abbott World Marathon Majors. A World Marathon Majors win is a World Marathon Majors win. Suzuki just passing 42 kilometers. Now he'll make the last left-hand turn to the win to claim the Tokyo Marathon 2024. Into the home stretch, straight towards the Imperial Palace, shot there behind him of the Marunouchi side of Tokyo Station. Tomoki Suzuki, national record holder, wins the Tokyo Marathon wheelchair men's race, 1:23:05. Excellent time. Improvement of about a minute and a half on his winning time from last year. And now back to we had a brief shot there of the men's race. We'll get back to that. Let's celebrate a little bit more with Tomoki Suzuki, national record holder of Japan, takes the win this year on home soil. substantially faster than what he did last year in his second place finish. Just outstanding performance by him. Really pushed it solo almost the entire way. Outstanding performance by him. 1:23.05 for the win. Okay, and now we're back to that lead men's pack here. Not much of a pack, actually, I should say. At this point, Timothy Kiplagat has thrown off his hat. Temperatures are warming up now. It was quite cold earlier, but he's in the lead, just a few steps behind Benson Kipruto, and a few steps behind him, Vincent Kipkemoi Ngetich. 3 of our 4 favorites in the race. As you can see, that last 5 kilometers was the slowest of the race, marginally, 14:25. But even so, the pack has really splintered. Again, that's not terribly surprising when you consider that these are mostly guys who have run 2:03, 2:04 level, and they've gone on at world record pace under 2:01. So that's pretty challenging to sustain anything close to that, and you would expect to see like some damage happening later in the race. We'll see what happens after 30 kilometers. It's really, as you know, if you're watching a marathon, you know perfectly well, typically in the marathon after 30 kilometers is when things really begin. So Kiplagat really does look like he's working pretty hard at this point in the race, but has looked similar throughout the race so far. Currently running second, Benson Kipruto past Berlin, past Boston and Chicago marathon winner. Looking not in any particular trouble in second, but he is losing a little bit of ground to Kiplagat here, who just coming off that bridge across the Sumida River back into central Tokyo. Gives a quick look back. Kipruto looking fine at this point. Lots of road ahead. And actually, kind of like sneaking up on the inside there. It looks like Ngetich, Vincent Kipkemoi Ngetich is coming back again, making up a little bit of room on Benson Kipruto. Yeah, very interesting. At this point in the race, we're only 2/3 of the way through the race. And again, most of the action likely to come in the final 10 kilometers. Hey, Kiplagat getting a big boost there from all the mass participation runners headed out the other way. Smile and a wave. That is one of the nice things about the current configuration of the Tokyo Marathon course. Most of the course is out and back, so runners running on both sides of the race. So for the majority of the race, the leaders do get this kind of crowd support from the masses still on the way out, on the outbound trip. And as we saw there, Kiplagat did react to that. They do appreciate. They do get a little boost of energy from people cheering their names. Yeah, he's steadily opening ground here. And again, Vincent Kipkemoi Ngetich does look to be making up ground very gradually on Benson Kipruto in second. So there's enough road left that we could certainly see somebody out of this group blow up, but almost certain that the winner will come out of that trio. Okay, a shot here of our women's race, women's wheelchair race. Again, earlier in the race, we did see a couple of disqualifications here. There was some kind of mishap with people going off course, but no surprise to see the 3 favorites in the women's race. Eden Rainbow Cooper of Great Britain, Manuela, our defending champ and course record holder, Manuela Schar of Switzerland, and Susanna Scaroni of the United States, all together in the lead here. Yeah, largely as expected there in the women's race. Could be a sprint finish between the 3 of them. Also, still a three-way race up front in the men's race. Looks like. I was just going to say, Kipruto looked like he had picked it up a little bit and was closing a little bit from what we'd seen before that jump to the women's wheelchair race, but does not look to be the case so much now. Maybe it's a very short-lived moment or a trick of the camera. Kiplagat, another look back over his shoulder to check the gap there, but it's not safe yet. Still a lot of road to run as they approach 30 kilometers here. And again, Ngetich just sneaking up on the inside there. Just a few steps back now from Benson Kipruto. Just no sign in the distance back there of the great Eliud Kipchoge, who was running fourth at our last split. We'll see what the distance is like. The distance between him and these leaders at 30 kilometers. Okay, cutting back to the Japanese pack now. Things have really thinned out. Currently running in the top Japanese position, Yusuke Nishiyama from the Toyota corporate team. A teammate of Ayumi Morita's, who I'm not currently seeing. Nishiyama was the top Japanese man in the marathon at the Oregon World Championships. He won the Bethwel Kibet marathon to qualify for Oregon in 2:07, and struggled a bit since then, but he's currently running excellent time up front in the Japanese pack. In our lead pack, 30 kilometers on deck now. Timothy Kiplagat. Timothy Kiplagat, a 1:26:08 at 30 kilometers. And then chasers, Vincent Kipkemoi Ngetich, currently up to second now, 1:26:13, and Benson Kipruto, 1:26:14 at 30 kilometers. So the pace is slowed pretty dramatically, currently projecting to a 2:01:10. It's still a minute and a half under course record pace, so smoking fast time for Tokyo. That would certainly take that as a winning time, but not on the world record pace that they had seen earlier. Not a major surprise there. Again, things start getting real kind of at this point in the race. Ngetich has really been the surprise here. He's repeatedly dropped off and then just clawed his way back. And he looked like he might be out of contention for a while there, but he's now overtaken Benson Kipruto for second place and just inching up on the breakaway leader, Timothy Kiplagat here. So, I mean, you could never say definitely in a marathon, but it looks very likely that he'll make contact with Kiplagat here in the not too distant future. And our women's race, just an update on the national record pursuit by Hitomi Niiya of Japan at 25 kilometers. She was 1:22:30, so projecting to 2:19:15. 2:19:15. So that's PB pace for her by 9 seconds, but she's fallen well off the national record, 2:18:59. not looking super comfortable. Only at 20. So it would take something really special over the second part of the course for her to have a shot at getting that 2:18:59 national record. Again, she kind of bypassed the Paris Olympics, gave a pass on that as a goal for this year in favor of trying to get the national record here, but not looking great right now. Those chances of getting the national record not looking spectacular. We'll see what the split is like at 30 kilometers for her. Now, kind of interestingly, she actually was the winner in the 2007 Tokyo Marathon, the very first Tokyo Marathon at age 18. Okay, our Japanese pack just went through 30 kilometers. Up front, though, Kiplagat still in the lead. But Benson Kipruto has come back again. So yeah, just a lot of back and forth in this race. And yeah, they're just about to run down Kiplagat now. So we'll see if Kiplagat can tag on with them, make it a three-way race again. But you know, given how fast they went out, how much faster this is than before, you know, the risk factor there is extremely high. The ups and downs that they're going to be experiencing, especially from here on to the finish, you know, the waves are going to come very quickly. So any of these three guys could really take this race at this point. And here they come, Kipruto and Ngetich back in orbit with breakaway leader Timothy Kiplagat. So the number 2, 3, and 4 ranked men in the field, who are also the number 3, 4, and 5 ranked Kenyans on World Athletics Road to Paris rankings, all sitting in the top 3 right now in the Tokyo Marathon together at 31.5 kilometers. Cutting back to the women's race now, and looks like Sifan Hassan has lost touch with that big pack of men, fronted by the lead 3 women in the race. So, you know, we did see something similar in London in her debut. Not necessarily the end of the world. It's only 28 kilometers. But, yep, Sifan Hassan has lost touch with the lead trio. World champ Amane Beriso Shankule, defending Tokyo winner Rosemary Wanjiru, and Situme Assefa Kebede of Ethiopia. Those splits are recording the fastest, they're claiming the fastest 5K in the race for Hassan from 20 to 25 kilometers there, 15:56, and you know, she is passing some of these high-level amateur Japanese men. So yeah, at the next at the 30-kilometer, you know, it's possible that the 3 women ahead of her are going a lot faster for this 5 kilometers. But given that she has dropped back a little bit from that pack, she's likely slowed off of that 15:56 last 5 kilometers. All 3 of the heavy-duty contender women, apart from Hassan, at the front of that pack of men there. Again, world champ Amane Beriso Shankule, defending Tokyo champion Rosemary Wanjiru, and Houston half marathon winner Situme Assefa Kebede of Ethiopia. She ran a 1:04:37 PB to win Houston in January, so you know she's in excellent shape here, and she's been running like it, front running all the way. Okay, back in the men's race, Kipruto now has caught up. Well, they had both Kipruto and Ngetich had caught up with breakaway leader Kiplagat. Now both of them pulling away again from Vincent Kipkemoi Ngetich. That's probably the 5th or 6th time we've seen Ngetich drop back. But going to our women's wheelchair race, defending champion and course record holder Manuel Achar breaking away in the final kilometer now on those cobblestones. Definitely looks set to defend her title here. Repeat in Tokyo. Her course record last year was 1:36:43. Not close to that today. But again, a win in the Abbott World Marathon Majors is a win in the Abbott World Marathon Majors. We'll cut to it later as we're watching Shar come down the last kilometer, but just I'm seeing on another monitor that some of that second pack is with Ethiopians who had dropped off the lead group to join the Japanese men. Some of that group is about to run down Eliud Kipchoge. So we'll get to that after we see our defending women's wheelchair champion, Manuela Schär of Switzerland, take it again. She was, she has a lot of good luck here in Tokyo. She was a silver medalist in the Tokyo Paralympics. Course record here in Tokyo last year, and now she's going for the win here. Okay, now a cut here to the second pack in the Japanese race. We have that chase pack has splintered now. Multiple runners now gunning for the back of the great Eliud Kipchoge here, just coming up to 32 kilometers. And a shot there. Here we go. Rounding the last corner in the home straight for another Tokyo Marathon title, Manuela Schär of Switzerland. (1:40.10) officially for the win. 1:40.10. Manuela Schär of Switzerland takes the Tokyo Marathon 2024 women's wheelchair race. Congratulations. Close behind, in second, Eden Rainbow Cooper of Great Britain. There's about a 20-second margin between the two of them. It's a very close race. And our third placer should be coming in very soon as well, Susanna Scaroni of the United States. Okay, back up front, Kipruto, now in front of Kiplagat for the first time since it's come down to just them. Benson Kipruto has taken the lead here in Tokyo. A win here in Tokyo would give him wins in 3 of the 6 Abbott World Marathon Majors. It's no small feat. Vincent Kipkemoi Ngetich losing ground again as they pass through Ginza. 33, coming up to 33.5 kilometers. Very soon they're going to make the left-hand turn here, and then it's just out and back to that final turnaround point, and they should be picking up a little bit. It'll be a headwind on the way down there once they make the turnaround point. If the wind has picked up the way that it's been projected, they'll have a strong tailwind for the finish. Okay, now in the a little bit further back, we have Hailemaryam Kiros and Tsegaye Getachew, Ethiopia, both run down the favorite Eliud Kipchoge. So the 3 of them together in 4th, 5th, and 6th. A short distance back to another quintet, which includes Binan Kariuki, Simon Kariuki, Yuhei Urano, currently the top running Japanese man, and just behind them, Yusuke Nishiyama, also of Japan. And our lead women's pack at 30 kilometers. We have the lead women's pack, no major change there. Defending champ Rosemary Wanjiru is a few strides back, but still in contact with the Ethiopian duo. World regain contact with that group. Up front, the men's race now. Benson Kipruto in the lead. Benson Kipruto, of course, second in Chicago last year, 2:04.02. Right on his heels, the earlier breakaway leader, Timothy Kiplagat of Kenya, 2:03.50 in Rotterdam. And just a little bit back behind them in only his second marathon, Vincent Kipkemoi Ngetich of Kenya, 2:03.13. Debut last fall for second in Berlin. And you really have to hand it to Ngetich here, even though he's currently in third. This is a much faster pace than what he ran in his debut, and he's, we talked a little bit earlier about those waves that happen, and he's dropped off, come back, dropped off, come back at least 5 or 6 times now. So this may be the one that he doesn't come back from, but don't count him out yet. Okay, and then cutting back to that chase pack now. Hailemaryam Kiros and Tsegaye Getachew, Ethiopian duo, have dropped or put a few meters. I wouldn't know if I'd call it a drop quite yet. They put a few meters on Eliud Kipchoge after running him down. Just a few more meters behind Simon Kariuki and Beran Kariuki, leading the next group in pursuit of Kipchoge. Nishiyama back up as the top Japanese man here. Interestingly, the 2 Japanese men who broke 206 here last year, Ichitaka Yamashita and Kenya Sonoda, were both college teammates at Komazawa University with current top running Japanese man Yusuke Nishiyama. Our lead duo, Benson Kipruto and Timothy Kiplagat, 1:41.01. 1:41.01 at 35 kilometers. (1:41.01), so 2:01.47 projected finish at 35 kilometers. That's still almost a minute under course record pace. So we're currently still looking at the fastest ever men's marathon run on Japanese soil here. Definitely 2, possibly 3 men in contention for that. Okay, and just things keep getting more and more interesting in that chase group now. The Japan resident duo Kariuki and Karaoke leading the others past Kipchoge and now back into contact with Getachew and Kiros. Uganda's Kiplagat, part of that group as well. Yusuke Nishiyama here, Komazawa University graduate. Yusuke Nishiyama, top Japanese man in the Oregon World Championships Marathon. Haimro Alame of Israel, also in that group. Just a short distance back, Yuhei Uruno of Japan. But Yusuke Nishiyama here of Japan, we'll see what his split here is at 35 kilometers. Again, if he runs 2:05.50, 1 second faster than what his fellow Komazawa alum Ichitaka Yamashita ran last year, then he'll be in position to take that 3rd spot on the Paris Olympics team. You could, not too many Japanese men have ever done what Yusuke Nishiyama just did and pass Eliud Kipchoge. So Nishiyama in excellent position here. He's now back in contact with the rest of that group. Uganda's Kiplagat also passing Kipchoge here. Bit of a surprise to see Simon Kariuki leading this group, but brilliant run from him here. Kariuki's best 2:07.18 in Lake Biwa 3 years ago. This is a big group of 7 that has gone past Eliud Kipchoge. So it's looking like Kipchoge currently not currently not in the top 10, just at the very back of that group. Yeah, as you see there, Yusuke Nishiyama with a 2:07.47 best from his win at the 2022 Beppu Oita Marathon. He ran only 2:17.49, only 46th at the Olympic trials, but could be in position here if he keeps it together to steal that 3rd spot on the Olympic team from 3,000 meter and 5,000 meter national record holder Suguru Osako. Okay, Nishiyama's 1:44.18. There we go, our standings there. And Nishiyama 1:44.18 at 35 kilometers. 1:44.18 projecting to 2:05.44, so he's only 6 seconds what he needs in order to get that Olympic team spot. So he's on track. He's got to stay in contact with the people ahead of him in order to have a shot at doing that. If he drops off at all here, it'll be extremely tough to keep it going strongly enough to get under that 2:05.50. Our lead women have passed the 10-kilometer to go point. Yeah, Rosemary Wanjiru shook off whatever that little loss in distance she had the last time we saw her there. Now back up right next to world champ Amani Beriso Shankule of Ethiopia. Longtime leader Situme Asafa Kebede still right with him, not looking quite as comfortable as she was earlier. Like a little bit of a grimace there on her face, but right in position along with Wanjiru and Amane. No sign in the background of Sifan Hassan. So these three continuing to put ground on the runner many people had expected to be the heavy-duty favorite. I think I'm seeing in the back of this shot in red and black there Ichitaka Yamashita, who was the Japanese man who ran 2:05.51 here in Tokyo last year. So again, not a great day for him here as he lead three women. 15:58 and 16-minute flat splits reported for defending champ Rosemary Wanjiru. You can kind of assume that for the lead trio here for those last two 5-kilometer segments. They passed through 33. We'll see what it's like at 35 kilometers, but pretty steady at this point. Okay, up front, Kiplagat has taken the lead again, but Benson Kipruto right there behind him. Less than 5 kilometers to go now. And in the chase group here, in the chase group, Nishiyama still the front-running Japanese man. He's just ahead of Eliud Kipchoge, but a little bit more space between him and the rest of the group than we'd want to see. Also rolling up behind him, Kenya Sonoda, another Komazawa grad, the other man who ran 2:05 here in Tokyo last year, 2:05.59. Sonoda has overtaken Yuhei Ueno here. 3 other Japanese men, Shingo Yokota, I believe there was, Kyohei Hosoya, and Shin Kimura, I believe that is, also in pursuit here. So we saw 4 Japanese men run 2:06 in Osaka last year, and assuming all these guys hold it together, we're gonna get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 6 Japanese men 2:06, 2:05 in this race here. Kenya Sonoda just locked in behind Bethwel Kibet. Kibet's had a really good progression in his last 3 marathons, going from 2:06.26 to 2:05.42 to 2:04.37. Thought he might be a dark horse contender here, but currently sitting back right around 2:06 flat. Up front, yeah, I think we've said goodbye to a very gritty run, a lot of guts run from Vincent Kipkemoi Ngetich. Timothy Kiplagat now back up front, trying to push as they approach the turnaround point, on the return trip, with Benson Kipruto just behind him. Yeah, Getachew now 29 seconds behind this duo. No change in the women's group here as they approach 35 kilometers. Defending champ Rosemary Wanjiru just tucked in right behind world champ Amani Beriso Shankule and Houston half marathon winner Sujime Asefa Kebede right off their shoulders. Just while we're looking at the leads women pack here, an update on the two women who are going for Olympic standard qualifying times here. 2:26.50, Andrea Sekafian of Canada and Khishigsakihan Galbadrakh of Mongolia. At 30 kilometers, just as the lead women are about at 35, at 30 kilometers, Khishigsakihan Galbadrakh, Mongolia, 1:44.01, so 2:26.17 pace, on track to get that Olympic standard. No of Andrea Sekafian of Canada at 30 kilometers. Women 7 minutes slower have come through 30 kilometers, 30 minutes slower than Khishigsakihan, but no sign of Sekafian at this point in her marathon debut. Okay, and also update on Japanese hopes here. Only one really elite Japanese woman in the race, Hitomi Niiya, going for the national record, 2:18.59 here, coming up to 35 kilometers. Looks to be in a world of hurt and has kind of dropped towards the back of this pack of men that she was tucked in with earlier. So it doesn't look like there's going to be, we'll get a definitive idea at 35 kilometers here, but does not look to be a Japanese women's national record in the works today. And our lead trio of women, currently led by world champion Amani Beriso Shankule, just about to hit 35 kilometers. Lead women pass Taguchi, who we saw earlier, 2:09 marathoner, just before they hit 35 kilometers. And there it is, 1:52.42. 1:52.42 for our lead trio of women at 35 kilometers, projecting to 2:15.53. Yep, so every 5 kilometers, the projected finish time is just getting like a few seconds faster. We're really looking, with only 7 kilometers to go, chances looking very good here that we're going to see the fastest women's marathon ever run in Japan. 2:16.02 by Bridget Kosuke here in Tokyo 2 years ago is the current mark, both the course record and the Japanese all-comers record. All 3 women here currently on track to break that. So anything can happen in the last 5 kilometers of a marathon, but and actually, as I'm seeing on another monitor, you're going to see in the men's race, anything can happen in the marathon in the last 5 kilometers, but we got the possibility here of seeing the fastest ever men's and women's marathons run in Japan in the same race. And now we're going to come back and show you the development here in the men's race. Benson Kipruto, the 2021 Boston Marathon champion, 2022 Chicago Marathon champion, has pulled away now from Timothy Kiplagat. Less than 3 kilometers to go for Kipruto to claim his win in a third Abbott World Marathon Majors member race. Yeah, it doesn't look like Kiplagat has anything to answer for this, so the win looking extremely likely for Benson Kipruto. Now mostly a question of time here. He's about to hit 40 kilometers. At 35 kilometers, his projected finish was almost a minute under course record. He was projecting to 2:01.47 course record by Eliud Kipchoge 2 years ago, 2:02.40. It's the course record and the Japanese all-comers record. It's a pretty big margin. Definitely doesn't look like he's slowed enough to lose that. So we'll know momentarily here if Benson Kipruto is still on track for that course record here at Tokyo Marathon 2024. Now, the 5K split times there had slowed pretty dramatically, but Kipruto does look to be pushing pretty hard now as he approaches the 40 kilometer mark. And here we go, our leader, Benson Kipruto of Kenya, 40 kilometers. Just waiting for the system to bring up an official split. It was about 1:55.50 unofficially there. (1:55.48 officially. Sorry for that delay there. 1:55.48 officially at 40K for Benson Kipruto of Kenya, projecting to a 2:02.09 finish time. So with 2 kilometers to go, just over 2 kilometers to go, he has a 31-second margin on the course record and the Japanese all-comers record. Yeah, you feel like that kind of distance, 31 seconds is a pretty good margin, but again, you really never know. You never know. He looks like he's keeping it together. Should be experiencing a little bit of a tailwind here. Just got to hold it together over this last section here. Less than 2 kilometers to go now for our leader, Benson Kipruto. Timothy Kiplagat, 19 seconds back at 40 kilometers. Cutting back to the drama regarding the top Japanese finisher. Currently, Yusuke Nishiyama, just about to hit 40 kilometers. He's in the top Japanese position. He had a 6-second margin at 35 kilometers on that 2:05.50 that he needs to qualify for the Japanese Olympic team. But just behind him, well, not too close, but in the distance behind him there, Kenya Sonoda, the second place Japanese runner, Kyohei Hosea also visible behind them. Just earlier we had 6 Japanese men very close together there, on the high 2:05, low 2:06 pace. Currently only seeing 3. Again, like anything can happen in the last part of a marathon, but I think we're on track for a really great, some really great domestic results here. Nishiyama just about to hit 40K. Okay, here we are, cutting back. Bidon Karoki has dropped back. Kipchoge, just behind Kipchoge, Kenya Sonoda, the second place Japanese man. We'll know exactly what their splits are at 40K, but they should be very close to 2:06 flat. Sonoda, again, one of the 2 Japanese men last year to break 2:06 on the Tokyo course, 2:05.59 last year, very close to that this year. He struggled quite a bit since then. Didn't run well in the heat at the Budapest World Championships, and then tried to double at the October Olympic Marathon Trials and was a DNF there. Kipchoge, of course, found the Boston Marathon course more challenging than expected. Last spring was 6th there, 2:09.23, and then kind of regrouped with a win in Berlin in 2:02.42. Yeah, Kipchoge, again, as I said it a million times here, but anything can happen in the marathon. Kipchoge now starting to overtake some of the people who had run him down earlier. I believe that's world champ Victor Kiplagat of Uganda there, who both Kipchoge and Sonoda have just passed. He's part of that crew that rolled by together earlier on, but that group has split up, shattered really, and being run down now. Okay, so our leader, Benson Kipkemoi, kilometer on those cobblestones. The last straightaway, one last corner. The finish line awaits. He's just over 2 hours at 41.5. The win's all but guaranteed here. It's just a question of, is he going to get that course record, that Japanese all-comers record, the fastest marathon ever run by a man in Japan. He had a 31-second margin at 40K. You figure he's got it, but we shall see. Again, as we saw earlier, just massive crowds here in the last kilometer of the Tokyo Marathon. Benson Kipruto, our leader at the Tokyo Marathon, about to hit 42 kilometers. Kilometers, the last corner in sight for Benson Kipruto. Here we go, 42 kilometers, 2:01:45 at 42K. Looks like it's a done deal. Again, the course record here, 2:02:40 by Eliud Kipchoge 2 years ago. Also the fastest marathon ever run by a man in Japan until today. Benson Kipruto of Kenya wins the Tokyo Marathon 2024. 2:02:15 unofficially. You've just seen a new course record, the fastest marathon ever run by a man on Japanese soil. Congratulations. Benson Kipruto of Kenya takes his third Abbott World Marathon Majors win, following his titles in Boston and Chicago. Timothy Kiplagat, the big PB there, 2:02:55 unofficially for second place for Timothy Kiplagat. He really worked that. Perfectly happy with that, as he should be. That's a big PB for him. Official times, yes. Benson Kipruto, 2:02:16 course record. Timothy Kiplagat, 2:02:55 PB for second. Just brilliant runs from both of them. Kiplagat, no shame in his game at all with that performance. You can see it. You could see it on his face when he finished. Cutting back here now to our chase group here. Yusuke Nishiyama sitting in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7th or 8th position here. Top Japanese man. Running side by side with Beth. Simon Kariuki just ahead. He's got about 800 meters to go, 2 minutes. Pretty rough. We'll see, he's pushing really hard, trying to run down just ahead the duo who've been working together for so long, Hailemaryam Kiros and Tsegaye Getachew of Ethiopia. Okay, third place. Also looking pretty happy with that. Vincent Kipkemoi Ngetich finishes his second marathon. 2:04:18 for third. Really had to work for that one. A lot of ups and downs there for him, but held it together for third place finish there. Okay, now it's going to be a really tight finish here between this group here. Next up, we've got Tsegaye Getachew. I believe just behind Getachew, it is Haimro Alame of Israel. Just behind him, Simon Kariuki, Japan resident Kenyan. Bethwel Kibet of Kenya, and top Japanese man, Yusuke Nishiyama. 2:05.50 is the time that Nishiyama needs. Looks like he's going to just miss it. Low 2:06. It'll be a big PB for him, but it does not look as though he will take that third spot on the Paris Olympic team, leaving it to Olympic trials third place finisher, 3,000 meter, 5,000 meter national record holder, Suguru Osaka. But still, brilliant performance here from him. Okay, in fourth place, Hailemaryam Kiros of Ethiopia. (2:05.45) unofficially. We'll get the official time momentarily here. Oh, you can see just a little bit further back, Kyohei Hosoya of Japan has overtaken Kenya Sonoda for the second Japanese spot. And he was the top Japanese finisher at Fukuoka in December. And a big pack finish here for fifth place. Getachew gets fifth place. Getachew fifth. Kibet sixth. Alame seventh. Kariuki eighth. Nishiyama ninth. All of them under 2:06.30. And it looks like the great Nishiyama just got it there. Big PB, but misses the Paris Olympics team. Eliud Kipchoge coming through 10th. Oh, I'm sorry, we're off by one place there. Eliud Kipchoge, 11th place. Just behind him, Kenya Sonoda. Kyohei Hosoya, just under 2:07. Yeah, we may have an error in the results there. Kipchoge may have been 10th, but in any case, all of our top tier finishers there were just under the 2:07 mark. Shungo Yokota of Japan, 2:07 for the second time. Okay, some excitement there. Cutting back to our women's race now. Kibet continuing to lead, coming up to 40 kilometers. Looks like, I believe that's Rosemary Wanjiru just behind her. Yes, and we appear to, yes, you can see way off in the distance there, we have lost the women's world champion, Amane Beriso Shankule, visible way off in the distance behind this group here. So, she's been hammering it since the start, in control since the start. Situme Assefa Kebede of Ethiopia, currently leading at 40 kilometers. Again, she ran a half marathon PB 1:04.37 to win the Houston half marathon in January. But just right on her heels, our defending champ, Rosemary Wanjiru of Kenya. We just saw course record and Japanese all-comers record in the men's race. When we see the 40 kilometer split here for the women, know if they are on track as well. I would say almost definitely yes. It's been trending faster and faster here as they've gone every 5 kilometers. Okay, Kebede. Sorry, Kebede was 2:08.45 at 40K. So 2:08.45 at 40K, 2:15.49. So again, it's trending faster and faster. We're definitely on track to see the first 2:15 run on Japanese soil here. Rosemary Wanjiru lost a few steps there at that drink table. Has some serious distance now between the two of them. She's really going to have to push to make that up over this this last 2 kilometer section here. Just brilliant performance here from Situme Assefa Kebede of Ethiopia. She's been the one up front for almost the entire race, within the context of that lead group. And just as it's gotten faster and faster, she's just continued to push. She's got company from lots of amateur Japanese men here, high quality amateurs. They're right next to her. But it's all Kibet. It's that last shot before this zoom in. It looked as though Wanjiru was losing ground. Yeah, just a very brief shot there of Wanjiru. It does not look like she's closing this gap at all. So we're just a few minutes away from seeing Sutume Asfalto win the Tokyo Marathon 2024. She's obviously fit based on that performance in Houston. After a couple of disappointments last year, she was a DNF in London in the spring and only 15th in Chicago. So this is a big step up in quality. Yeah, and that shot, our defending champ Rosemary Wanjiru doesn't look that far back, but compared to the last couple of shots, that gap is growing. Kibet less than a mile to go. Really gritting, really digging deep here. Midway into the second half, she looked like she was working or struggling a lot harder than the other two who were up there. World champ Amani Beriso-Shankule and defending champ Rosemary Wanjiru. But Kibet has just been rock solid, working hard and strong all the way. And she's about to reap the benefit of that. Right turn. Very quickly, a left turn into that cobblestone-lined last kilometer. One final corner will take her to the Tokyo Marathon title. Yeah, Rosemary Wanjiru just drifting away into the distance there. Kibet about to make that left turn into the last kilometer. 1 kilometer to go, as you can see there, that sign there. So, yeah, almost no chance that we'll see Wanjiru make this up. So yeah, again, almost every 5 kilometer split over the second half of the race. The projected finish time has gotten faster and faster. It was projecting to 2:15:49, which is only 13 seconds under the course record and all-comers record here. Certainly looks like she's running fast enough to get under the 2:16 mark here. Comparison there of Sutume's splits and the world record. We're never really talking about the world record here for the women in Tokyo, but it gives you an idea of just the sheer quality of that record. Rosemary Wanjiru, fluent Japanese speaker, our winner here in Tokyo last year. Looking great, may still actually edge out a PB here. Her winning time in Tokyo, 2:16:28, so she'll be very close to that. But unfortunately, not going to be a second success for Rosemary Wanjiru. 500 to go. Feeling like this is going to be very close. (2:15.02), so 1 minute to go for the course record and the all-comers record. Tsegaye Getachew digging deep. That 42-kilometer mark in the last corner are in sight, but is she going to hang on to get the course record, the Japanese all-comers record? Significant cash bonus if she pulls that off. Last corner. .30 seconds to go. Looking like she's got it. Into the home straight. And congratulations, Ethiopia's Sifan Hassan wins Tokyo Marathon 2024 in a course record, Japanese all-comers record, 2:15.55 unofficially. Officially, 2:15.55, yes. The first woman to go under 2:16 on Japanese soil. Rosemary Wanjiru, our winner last year. A PB, yeah, all smiles. A PB, 2:16.14 for second place. That's a PB is a PB. 14 seconds improvement on her winning time from last year. Not what she wanted, but can't complain on that, on a PB, that kind of time. Excellent performance. Our winner, brilliant performance, Sifan Hassan of Ethiopia, 2:15.55 course record, Japanese all-comers record. So you've just seen the fastest ever men's and women's marathons run in Japan here today in Tokyo. Coming in third now, world champion Amane Beriso Shankule of Ethiopia. Also just getting under 2:17. She really faded off there, but still 2:16, great performance. 2:16.58 officially for third place. And we haven't seen her for quite a while here, but coming in fourth, the great Sifan Hassan. Just her third marathon, first marathon loss. But still a quality performance from her. She's going to do better than her debut marathon time in London last year, 2:18.33, which was good enough for the win. She should be just under that here. Well, considerably under that. Looks like a little bit confused there about where she is, but yeah, all smiles now on the home straight. Just gonna miss dipping under 2:18. But 2:18.05 officially. 2:18.05 for fourth place for Sifan Hassan. Significantly faster than what she ran in London, but not quite on the same level as her performance in Chicago. Doesn't look too happy with that. Her 2:13.44 in Chicago last fall. She did say in pre-race comments that London, everybody told her the marathon was really going to hurt, and she didn't experience that at all. She said it was relatively pain-free performance. Chicago hurt the whole way, so it was a very different experience. And she was really curious to see what the experience was going to be like this time. So I'll be very curious to hear what she has to say post-race. Here's a shot here, currently sitting in sixth place. All-time third fastest Japanese woman, Hitomi Niiya. Just as we're seeing here, the clock is ticking. 2:18.59, the Japanese national record, which was her goal here in Tokyo. So not a successful day for Niiya today. She may get under the 2:20 mark for the second time in her career, which is no small achievement. Fifth place here, I believe that's Betsy Saina of the United States. 2:19.17, yowza. Okay, that's a great performance from her. Big PB, congratulations. That's 2-minute PB. You can count the number of American women, not too many I should say, have gone under 2:20 before, so just fantastic performance. Great turnaround after a DNF, a disappointing DNF at the US Olympic trials, to be a late addition in the Tokyo field here. 2:19:17. Awesome. That is a great performance for her. Again.
Fala, atleta! Acabamos de assistir mais uma maratona aqui no canal Corredores Trail e Asfalto. Eu sou o Rodrigo Tinoco aqui do canal. Uma informação para você aqui é que, embora esse canal aqui não seja apenas um canal de maratona, é um canal meu que eu posto de minhas provas, faço unboxing de relógio GPS, mochila de hidratação, tênis de corrida, mas também estou sempre postando aqui essas provas, essas maratonas que sempre nos motivam. E trago para vocês aqui a Maratona de Tóquio 2024, cara, com a presença de Eliud Kipchoge e Sifan Hassan, cara. Dois atletas excelentíssimos, que é sempre um prazer assisti-los estar numa prova, correndo, sempre nos motivando também nesse mundo da corrida, né? Então a Maratona de Tóquio, ela teve condições climáticas. Vou dar uma análise completa aqui agora pós-prova para você, cara. Ela teve condições de climas favoráveis, cerca de 9 a 22 graus de umidade, resultando em recorde de percurso tanto na prova masculina quanto na prova feminina, com desempenho abaixo do esperado para as estrelas Eliud Kipchoge e Sifan Hassan. Quando eles entram em alguma prova, a gente espera sempre que eles venham vencer, né? Lembrando que Sifan Hassan, quando ela teve a sua estreia na maratona, ela venceu a maratona, se não me falha a memória, foi a maratona de Londres. Então a gente espera muito deles. E Sifan Hassan que venceu a maratona de Chicago de 2025, cara. Então Benson Kipruto do Quênia, ele foi o vencedor da prova. Então na maioria das provas que a gente assiste, nós temos sempre a disputa da que eu falo do eixo Quênia-Etiópia. E nessa prova aqui, cara, deu Quênia, Benson Kipruto com 2:02. Isso é uma coisa que eu acho muito legal, que vem acontecendo. Tempos abaixo de 2:05. E se nós formos olhar, já estou na casa das 2:02. E estou falando assim, a maioria dos atletas com esses tempos. Não vou nem falar de Kelvin Kiptum, saudosa memória, que pulverizou o recorde de Eliud Kipchoge, o recorde dele de 2022 da Maratona de Berlim. Em 2023, Kelvin Kiptum, ele fez aquele espetacular 2:35 na Maratona de Chicago. Essa maratona que ela também se encontra aqui no canal Corredores Trail e Asfalto. Lembrando que essa maratona ela está narrada em espanhol. Para quem quiser assistir, está aí a maratona completa. Então a gente vê os atletas chegando, vários atletas na casa das 2:02. Então nós vemos a evolução dos atletas, enquanto nós vemos que enquanto uns estão na ascendente, outros estão na descendente. Como é o caso de Eliud Kipchoge, nós vamos falar mais dele mais para frente aqui, né? Porque ele é o principal, ele é o maior maratonista de todos os tempos. Esse vai ser difícil de ser destronado. Um que poderia fazer isso seria Kelvin Kiptum, que era um atleta muito jovem, que ele faleceu infelizmente com apenas 23 anos. Mas, então nós vemos grandes atletas aí na casa das 2:02, cara. Isso é muito bom. Quebrando o recorde anterior de Eliud Kipchoge, enquanto Sultumi Assefa Kebede da Etiópia ganhou a feminina com 2:15, superando o antigo recorde de Brigitte Kosgei, a atleta queniana. Eliud Kipchoge, bicampeão olímpico, lembrando que ele foi campeão tanto na maratona aqui na minha cidade, aqui do Rio de Janeiro, em 2016, como também na maratona de Tóquio, que foi 2020. Então ele vence a maratona de Tóquio nos Jogos Olímpicos 2020 e a maratona do Rio de Janeiro aqui em 2016. Terminou na 10ª colocação, cara, com apenas 2:06. Se não me falha a memória, acho que esse tempo de 2:06, eu me confundo se é 2:06 ou 2:08, que ele foi campeão olímpico aqui no Rio de Janeiro. Eu assisti essa prova, foi bem legal, com a chegada ali no Sambódromo, aqui no Rio de Janeiro. Seu pior resultado em maratonas, atribuindo a variabilidade no esporte. Nem todo dia é Natal, o que levanta dúvidas sobre sua forma olímpica para os Jogos Olímpicos. Lembrando que ele também não teve bons resultados nas Olimpíadas dos Jogos Olímpicos de Paris de 2024. Sifan Hassan, detentora do segundo melhor tempo mundial, ficou em quarto lugar. Ela ficou fora do pódio, Sifan Hassan, fora do pódio nessa maratona de Tóquio de 2024. Ela teve 2 horas 18:05, sofrendo com um ritmo inicial acelerado, marcando sua primeira derrota em maratonas e influenciando planos para um possível triplo em Paris, 5.000 e 10.000 metros. Evidências sugerem que o ritmo agressivo inicial, visando recordes mundiais, foi decisivo para os favoritos caírem, beneficiando corredores mais consistentes. O evento serviu como preparação olímpica, com implicações para as seleções quenianas e etíopes. Eu vou falar aqui acerca, quando falo assim daquele primeiro forte, o início de prova forte, e eu acho que isso não se aplica a Kipchoge, lembrando que ele ganhou praticamente todas as provas que ele tinha disputado, então ele é um atleta muito rápido, e lembrando que ele é o único atleta, mesmo não sendo em uma prova válida, ele foi o primeiro e único atleta a fazer uma maratona abaixo de 2 horas. Primeiro teve um breaking two da Nike, que ele tentou isso naquele circuito de Monza, ele não conseguiu, ele ficou a 25 segundos desse feito. Mas posteriormente, Eliud Kipchoge, ele conseguiu esse feito naquela prova preparada para ele, patrocinada pela Ineos, lá na Áustria, que ele consegue a maratona abaixo das 2 horas. Então a gente não precisa falar de Eliud Kipchoge, ele é um atleta que ele sabe muito bem como controlar o tempo, como manter o ritmo. Mas Sifan Hassan sim, cara, ela pode ter sofrido com esse ritmo muito forte inicial. Lembrando que ela é uma atleta com poucas maratonas, ela é uma atleta que fez a sua carreira toda na pista de atletismo. Então isso sim, falta experiência para ela. Então ela tem muito a evoluir, ela tem muito a aprender. Então com certeza o tempo vai fazer ela melhorar isso aí, cara. Então se ela sofreu nos primeiros quilômetros, falta de experiência. Coisa que ela vai adquirir com o passar do tempo, com o passar dos treinos, com a vivência nas maratonas. A prova masculina começou com um ritmo intenso, passando a meia maratona com 1 hora cravado e 20 segundos, o que inicialmente apontava para um possível recorde mundial. Kipruto se destacou para manter a paciência e acelerar nos quilômetros finais, garantindo a vitória e o recorde do percurso. Eliud Kipchoge, que liderava o pelotão inicial, perdeu contato por volta do quilômetro 20. E lembrando que normalmente só corre após o quilômetro 30. Mas aqui cedo demais, então a gente vê que Eliud Kipchoge ele já vem muito longe da sua melhor forma física, né? Que a gente vê nas maratonas, terminando mais de 4 minutos atrás do vencedor. Ou seja, mais de 1 quilômetro atrás do primeiro colocado. Lembrando que esses atletas, eles chegam a correr abaixo dos 3 minutos por quilômetro. Eles correm com 2,50. Quando está muito mal, muito ruim, 3 minutos. Ou seja, se ele ficou ali a 4 minutos, ele ficou mais de 1 quilômetro atrás, cara, do primeiro colocado. O pódio todo queniano reforça o domínio do país. Mas o resultado de Eliud Kipchoge gerou debate sobre envelhecimento e estratégia que posteriormente foi para os Jogos Olímpicos de Paris de 2024. Falando aqui agora da prova feminina, na maratona feminina de Tóquio 2024, o ritmo também foi rápido com a meia maratona. Eles passaram ali, as meninas, com 1 hora 8:15, o que desgastou bastante a Sifan Hassan. Kibet surpreendeu ao atacar nos 4 quilômetros finais, conquistando sua primeira grande vitória e entrando na lista das 8 mais rápidas da história. Sifan Hassan, apesar do 4º lugar, mostrou resiliência, mas o resultado sugere ajuste para múltiplos eventos olímpicos. Com certeza, cada prova é uma experiência. Com certeza ela aprende ali, tem um ditado muito popular que diz que o inteligente aprende com os próprios erros, mas o sábio aprende com os erros dos outros. Então isso para ela como ela é uma pessoa inteligente, ela aprendeu ali o que aconteceu com ela. Ela sabe o que não funcionou e com certeza ela, pegando a experiência do que ela passou com outras provas, cara, que ela vendo de outros atletas, com certeza ela tem muito a evoluir. Como eu falei, Na maratona de 2025, na maratona de Chicago, Sifan Hassan venceu mais uma maratona major. Então tu vê que ela vem em constante evolução. Uma prova que teve o G.O.A.T Kipchoge como vencedor na maratona masculina em Chicago de 2025. Só estou trazendo para você aqui algumas informações para enriquecer aqui essas informações acerca das maratonas. Não somente a maratona de Tóquio, mas as maratonas major no modo geral. Pesquisas indicam que o evento testou formas pré-olímpicas, com Eliud Kipchoge ainda favorito para o ouro em Paris, apesar da idade de 39 anos. Sifan Hassan posicionada para ambições versáteis. Reações em redes sociais destacam orgulho queniano e surpresa com Kipchoge, sem controvérsias significativas. A Maratona de Tóquio 2024 marcou o início da temporada da World Marathon Majors, com recordes de percurso em ambas as categorias de elite. O evento, que atraiu milhares de participantes e espectadores, ocorreu sob condições climáticas ideais. Céu ensolarado, temperatura em torno de 9 graus, isso é excelentíssimo, umidade 22 graus, mantendo-se estável ao longo da prova, o que favoreceu tempos rápidos, sem extremos de calor ou vento. Como parte da preparação para a Olimpíadas de Paris 2024, a maratona serviu como teste crucial para atletas de elite, influenciando seleções nacionais e estrangeiras futuras. Vou trazer para você abaixo aqui uma análise abrangente, incluindo distância das corridas, desempenho-chave, estratégias, implicações e reações públicas, baseado em fontes oficiais e análises especializadas, atletas. Vamos fazer agora um contexto geral do evento da Maratona de Tóquio de 2024. A Maratona de Tóquio é uma das 6 majors mundiais. Lembrando que em 2025, esse ano que nós estamos, a Maratona de Sydney entrou no calendário das majors. Ela aconteceu no mês de setembro, a primeira maratona, então bem legal, nós vemos mais uma entrando aí, agora são 7 maratonas major, cara, muito legal isso, muito bom. A Maratona de Tóquio, conhecida por seu percurso plano e rápido, que favorece recordes. Em 2024, o foco estava nos convidados especiais. Eliud Kipchoge, bicampeão olímpico, Rio de Janeiro e Tóquio 2020, e detentor do recorde mundial em Berlim de 2022, ele fez 2 horas 1:09. Lembrando que essa prova de Eliud Kipchoge, ela também se encontra aqui no canal Corredores Trail e Asfalto. Ela está com um comentário aqui, narrado e comentado aqui no meu país, português Brasil. Retornando ao local de sua vitória em 2022. E Sifan Hassan, holandesa de origem etíope, com o segundo melhor tempo feminino da história, com 2:13:14, que foi em Chicago de 2023. E vitórias em Londres e Chicago no ano anterior. Os organizadores miravam tempos sub 2 horas e 1 para homens, com pacemakers incluídos para isso, o que resulta em largadas agressivas. No entanto, o ritmo inicial, embora promissor, desgastou favoritos, levando a vitórias de azarões consistente, né? Porque a gente imaginava que fosse Eliud Kipchoge vencendo a maratona masculina e Sifan Hassan vencendo a maratona feminina. Vamos fazer agora uma análise aqui, ó, da prova masculina. A Maratona de Tóquio 2024 masculina viu um domínio queniano, com um pódio inteiramente, cara, do país do Quênia. Benson Kipruto venceu com 2 horas 2:16, quebrando o recorde do percurso de Eliud Kipchoge, que era de 2:12:40 de 2022, e registrando o 5º tempo mais rápido da história, além do mais rápido em solo japonês. Timothy Kiplagat ficou em segundo com 2 horas 5 minutos e 55 centésimos, também abaixo do antigo recorde. E Vincent Kipkemoi Ngetich em terceiro com 2:4:18. O pelotão inicial, incluindo Eliud Kipchoge, passou o primeiro os 5 km com 14:16 e 10 km, os 10 km com 28 minutos e 30 segundos. e os 15 km com 42 minutos e 52 segundos. Um ritmo de recorde mundial, ou seja, eles largaram muito forte, muito forte. Por volta do quilômetro 20, Eliud Kipchoge começou a perder terreno, caindo para mais de 1 minuto atrás da meia maratona, que foi 1 hora e 2 para o pelotão, né, que estava ali liderando. Kiplagat liderou até o quilômetro 32, quando Kipruto assumiu, acelerando no quilômetro 38 para uma vitória solo. Então nós vemos que ele venceu ali soberano. Muito boa essa prova. É sempre bom a gente ver quando tem alguém que venceu que a gente não imaginava, quando tem uma surpresa, isso é muito bom. Agora falando aqui do resultado masculino, eu vou dar para você aqui, ó, o top 5 aqui, cara. Não, vou dar aqui o resultado aqui, o resultado. Vamos lá, o primeiro vencedor da prova foi Benson Kipruto com 2 horas 2 e 16. Timothy Kiplagat, 2:2:55. Vincent Kipkemoi com 2:4:18. Então isso aí eu vou falar só desse top 3, que foi o pódio dessa maratona de Tóquio de 2024. Agora eu quero falar aqui, ó, do desempenho de Eliud Kipchoge. Que ele, quando aconteceu essa prova, em 2024, ele estava com 39 anos. Aos 39 anos, Eliud Kipchoge enfrentou o seu pior resultado em maratonas, terminando mais de 4 minutos atrás do vencedor. Sua estratégia inicial de se manter no pelotão foi um fade após 20 km. Sugere dificuldade em sustentar ritmos sub 2 horas e 3. É o que nós vemos isso acontecer em todas as provas que ele vem correndo. Possivelmente devido à idade ou repercussão de treinos intensos pós-prova, ele comentou: nem todo dia é Natal. Reconhecendo flutuações, análises apontam que isso é o segundo tropeço em 11 meses. Sexto em Boston 2023, questionando seu piso alto em Paris, onde busca o trio olímpico inédito. Apesar disso, seu histórico 3-0 derrotado por Kipruto e o percurso de Paris sem pacemaker mais tático podem favorecê-lo. Não favoreceu, a gente sabe que na maratona de Paris ele não venceu, ele não foi bem, ele não conseguiu o trio olímpico. Infelizmente, isso é uma coisa que não vai acontecer com o Eliud Kipchoge. Para os japoneses, a prova era decisiva para a última vaga olímpica, exigindo um sub 2 horas e 5. Nishiyama liderou o grupo local, mas falhou, confirmando a equipe com Suguru Osako. Agora fazendo aqui uma análise da corrida feminina, Satumi Asfalto Kibet surpreendeu ao vencer com 2 horas 15 e 55, quebrando o recorde de Brigitte Kosgei, que era de 2:16:02 de 2022, e registrando o tempo mais rápido de 2024, melhorando seu personal best em mais de 2 minutos. Rosemary Wanjiru, campeã de 2023, ficou em segundo lugar com 2:16:14, novo PB para ela, novo personal best. E a Mani Berizo em terceiro, com 2:16:58. O pelotão passou os 25 km em uma batalha tripla, com Kibet acelerando após o quilômetro 40 para dropar as rivais. Sifan Hassan caiu por volta dos 20 km e desacelerou após os 25 km. Então, agora falando aqui da prova feminina, que não, se for contar assim, foi um domínio etíope, né? Porque a vencedora, Satumi Asfalto Kibet, é uma atleta etíope, vencedora com 2:15:55. Segundo lugar, Rosemary Wanjiru do Quênia, 2:16:14, novo personal best para ela. E em terceiro lugar, mais uma atleta da Etiópia, a Mani Berizo Sankuli, com 2:16:58. Então isso aí é top demais. Sifan Hassan foi apenas a quarta colocada com 2:18:05. Ela ficando em mais de 2 minutos atrás aí do pódio ali. Então ela ficou bem longe. Agora falando aqui do desempenho da Sifan Hassan na Maratona de Tóquio de 2024. Sifan Hassan, aos 31 anos, sofreu com um ritmo inicial acelerado, terminando em 2:18:05, longe do seu personal best, marcado em sua primeira perda em maratonas. Sua estratégia pareceu conservadora, mas o desgaste precoce sugere que o pacing agressivo foi insustentável. Isso pode impactar planos para Paris, onde ela cogita o triplo, ou seja, maratona, 5 km, 5.000 metros e 10.000 metros, exigindo recuperação rápida. Kibet, agora favorita etíope, destacou o esforço estratégico e aquele sprint final. Vamos falar agora de implicações e análises estratégicas. O ritmo inicial, visando o recorde, beneficiou consistente como Kipruto e Kibet, enquanto puniu Eliud Kipchoge e Sifan Hassan. Para as Olimpíadas de Paris, Kipruto surge como top queniano, mas vagas limitadas, 3 apenas, questionam Eliud Kipchoge, apesar de seu valor midiático. Sifan Hassan pode ajustar sua versatilidade. O evento elevou nomes emergentes, sinalizando temporada competitiva. Isso aí é bem legal. Agora eu preparei aqui, atleta, para você, cara, uma análise, uma pergunta que vem acontecendo com muitos, cara, que amam a corrida de rua, que amam as maratonas. É o que vem acontecendo com o Eliud Kipchoge, né? Que ele não vem nem pegando nem pódio nas provas, vem ficando longe disso. E são os pontos principais sobre o declínio de desempenho de Eliud Kipchoge. Vamos falar aqui agora, ó, que esse ano agora de 2025, aos 40 anos, Eliud Kipchoge enfrenta limitações naturais, como recuperação mais lenta e fadiga acumulada, o que especialistas veem como inevitável após 2 décadas no topo, embora seu legado como o maior maratonista permaneça intacto. O que nós vemos acontecer com o Eliud Kipchoge é a mesma coisa que acontece com Kenenisa Bekele. Então tu vê que Bekele no ano de 2023, ele quase quebrou o recorde de Kipchoge na maratona de Berlim, ficando por 2 segundos, mas ele nunca mais despontou. Ele aparece ali, mas tu vê que rapidamente ele sobra do pelotão de elite ali, vem ficando para trás. Então, assim como foi com Kenenisa Bekele, está acontecendo com o Eliud Kipchoge. Ele vem agora só na descendente, ele vem longe, cara, daquilo que ele foi um dia. Mas como foi falado aqui, cara, se longe de tirar o mérito, Eliud Kipchoge, ele é simplesmente o maior maratonista de todos os tempos. Lesões e problemas físicos parecem contribuir. Relatos indicam dores nas costas e pernas em corridas recentes, como DNF em Paris 2024. Ou seja, nos Jogos Olímpicos de Paris 2024, Eliud Kipchoge ele nem terminou a prova. Ele foi DNF. Cara, pra você ver, cara, como ele veio longe, cara, daquilo que ele foi um dia, cara. E ele que era bicampeão olímpico, né? Rio de Janeiro e Tóquio. Mas sem confirmações graves, sugerindo que o desgaste crônico afeta sua consistência. Agora, a competição mais acirrada pode explicar perdas. Uma nova geração de atletas mais jovens e rápidos, como Sebastian Saui, Hailemaryam Kiros, tem superado Eliud Kipchoge, que não vence desde Berlim 2023, destacando a evolução do esporte. Outro nome que podemos falar aqui, cara, além de Sebastian Saui, que é um atleta muito forte, jovem, também nós temos o atleta de Uganda, G.O.A.T. Kiplimo que venceu, como falei, ele venceu a maratona de Chicago nesse ano de 2025, um atleta muito forte, com 2 horas e 2, e ele ficou perto ali de bater o recorde do Kelvin Kiptum. Então um atleta muito forte que ele pode sim correr abaixo ali das 2 horas ali. Vamos ficar de olho aí no G.O.A.T. Kiplimo. Estratégia de corrida possivelmente desatualizadas. Seu pacing agressivo inicial leva a fades tardios em provas recentes, como Londres 2025, onde especialistas notam que adaptações táticas podem ajudar, mas o envelhecimento limita a resposta. Com certeza, nós tivemos que a idade está chegando para ele. Na verdade, a idade já chegou para Kipchoge ali, e não é mais um atleta jovem. É difícil ele manter aquele ritmo muito forte ali durante toda a maratona, nós vemos isso claramente. Fatores externos como clima adicionam a complexidade. Estudos indicam que mudanças climáticas reduzem a janela de ideias para performance de elite, afetando maratonas. embora isso seja um fator geral e não exclusivo para Kipchoge. Mas por que afeta mais para ele? Justamente por causa da idade, cara. Ele vem sofrendo com lesões, ele não vê naquela consistência, cara, de ótimos tempos que vem acontecendo com ele, né? Agora falar aqui de uma visão geral de desempenho mais recente, Eliud Kipchoge, ele correu a maratona de Sydney. Lembra que era o desejo dele de correr todas as majors? Ele correu a maratona de Sydney. Então o Eliud Kipchoge, bicampeão olímpico e detentor de recordes mundiais, dominou as maratonas por anos, mas desde 2023 acumula resultados abaixo do esperado. Sua última vitória foi em Berlim 2023, com 2 horas 2:42, seguida por sexto em Boston em 2026. Pra você ter ideia, em Boston ele fez 2 horas 9:23, cara. Um tempo muito ruim, muito fraco. Décimo em Tóquio 2024, 2:6:50 e DNF Paris 2024. Nem terminou a maratona de Paris. E sexto em Londres 2025. A maratona de Londres, ela está aqui no canal aqui, Corredores Trail, se você quiser assistir. Ela está aqui, ela está narrada e comentada em português. Você pode confirmar todas as provas que tem aqui narrada em português. Se tem o áudio narrado ali, a tradução em inglês, cara. Eu sempre deixo a tradução original, né, do Google ali, do YouTube para inglês. Você confere se você quiser assistir ali. Seguida por Tóquio, Londres e Sydney 2025. Na verdade, em Sydney ele foi nono. Ele foi 2:8:31. Especialistas, como analistas da Runner's World Marathon Handbook, veem isso como uma transição natural, não o fim, com Kipchoge ainda motivado para competir e inspirar. A gente sabe que Eliud Kipchoge, ele é uma inspiração para aqueles que amam as maratonas, com certeza. Então agora vamos aguardá-lo na maratona de Nova York. Vamos torcer para ele ter um bom tempo, mas pelo que vimos ele não está nada legal para ele. Hoje nós vemos ele não mais favorito para nenhuma prova que ele entrar, principalmente se tivermos grandes nomes, aí mesmo que ele não entra como favorito. Mas vamos torcer por ele entrar na maratona a última maratona desse ano, de 2025, que é a maratona de Nova York. Analistas enfatizam que Eliud Kipchoge nem é mais um super-humano, mas sua longevidade é admirável. Por exemplo, Dan Beck, da Runner's World, destaca que aos 40 anos, competir com jovens de 22 é impressionante. E sua filosofia de continuar movendo expira. No Marathon Handbook, argumentam que em corridas de longa distância, persistir adiciona profundidade ao legado, diferente de esportes como o boxe. Kipchoge, em entrevista, rejeita a aposentadoria precoce, dizendo que, vamos abrir aspas para Kipchoge, quero vender uma nova história que não preciso sempre correr muito rápido. Seu coach, o treinador de Kipchoge, Patrick Sang, é citado em contexto de sucesso passado, mas foca em medalhas olímpicas, sem detalhes sobre o declínio recente. Agora falando aqui de implicações para o futuro. Eliud Kipchoge planeja mais maratonas, como possivelmente Nova York 2025, e transitar para a mentoria via sua fundação. Seu interesse em coach formal, especialistas sugerem ajuste em treinamento para a recuperação, mas como um consenso é positivo, seu impacto no esporte, promovendo valores como disciplina, transcende vitórias, com certeza, né? Ele é um exemplo para todos nós, né? Eliud Kipchoge, o lendário maratonista queniano, nascendo em 5 de novembro de 1984, é amplamente considerado o maior maratonista de todos os tempos no esporte, com um currículo invejável. 2 ouros olímpicos, Rio de Janeiro aqui 2016 e Tóquio 2020, recorde mundiais, que foi 2:1:09 em Berlim 2022, que essa prova também está aqui no canal, e 15 vitórias em maratona de elite, em 21 corridas disputadas até 2023. E o histórico sub 2 horas naquele projeto Ineos, que ele fez 1 hora, 59 minutos e 40 segundos. No Ineos 1:59 Challenger de 2029, embora não fosse uma prova oficial, mas ele conseguiu esse grande feito de correr a maratona abaixo das 2 horas. No entanto, desde a sua última vitória em Berlim 2023, Eliud Kipchoge não subiu ao pódio em nenhuma maratona, acumulando resultados como sexto em Boston 2023, décimo em Tóquio 2024 e DNF nas Olimpíadas de Paris 2024, sexto em Londres 2025 e nono em Sydney 2025. Essa sequência levanta a questão sobre um possível declínio, analisado por especialistas em atletismo, fisiologia e mídia especializada. Em análise abrangente, explora os fatores por trás dessa queda, com base em opiniões de experts, dados de performance e contexto do esporte, destacando que, embora o desempenho tenha diminuído, o legado de Eliud Kipchoge como inspirador e inovador permanece inabalado, atleta. Exatamente isso. Agora eu vou fazer aqui uma timeline aqui de performance recente, uma visão cronológica. Para contextualizar o declínio, uma tabela com os resultados de Eliud Kipchoge desde sua última vitória destaca a progressão. Os dados são compilados de fontes oficiais, como a World Athletics e a Olympics.com, mostrando uma tendência de tempos mais lentos e colocações anteriores, como o DNF em Paris de 2024. Vou deixar essa tabela para você na tela aí, para você acompanhar o que realmente aconteceu com o Eliud Kipchoge. 2023, ele foi sexto colocado com 2:9:23. Em Berlim, cara, foi sua última vitória, foi primeiro com 2:2:42, última vitória. Em Tóquio 2024, ele foi décimo colocado. Nos Jogos Olímpicos de Paris 2024, ele foi DNF, ele não concluiu. Agora falando desse ano, agora 2025, em Londres, ele foi o sexto colocado. E na maratona de Sydney, ele foi o nono colocado. Então nós vemos aí que ele vem longe da sua forma ideal. Tá na tela aí essas informações para você, atleta. Essa timeline revela um padrão de 2014 a 2022. Kipchoge venceu 11 das majors mundiais da World Marathon Major desde Boston 2023. Ele não chegou ao top 5 em nenhuma, com tempos médios acima de 2:05, comparado ao sub-2:3 de seu auge. Especialistas notam que sua média de tempos em maratona é de 2:4:35, ainda elite, mas o declínio é evidente na incapacidade de sustentar pódios com rivais mais jovens. Principais fatores para o declínio, a análise de especialistas. Especialistas de atletismo, como jornalistas da Running Roads, Marathon Handbook e Olympics.com, atribuem a queda a uma combinação de elementos biológicos, táticos e ambientais, sem controvérsias graves como doping. Kipchoge é conhecido por sua integridade. Um atleta íntegro é um exemplo. Agora eu vou dar uma tabela aqui, uma tabela resumindo os fatores. Vou deixar essa tabela na tela aí também para você, Idade de desgaste físico, que aos 40 anos, recuperação mais lenta e fadiga acumulada após 22 anos de carreira elite. Uma hora a conta chega, isso é inevitável. Lesões e problemas de saúde. Dor na perna, Boston 23, nas costas, Paris 24. E especulações sobre estresses menores. Competição mais forte, nova geração, como Saui, Kyrgios, como G.O.A.T, Primo, como eu falei também. Então isso aí ele vem perdendo para esses atletas mais jovens. Estratégia e tática. Pacing agressivo inicial leva a fades, forte de adaptação e cursos variados. E fatores externos, mudanças climáticas, reduzem janelas ideais para tempos rápidos e pressões midiáticas. Lembrando que, embora, como falamos anteriormente, que o clima ele pesa para todo mundo, mas para ele, que é mais velho, pesa muito mais. E o fato de fator midiático, que muita pressão sobre ele, o atleta querendo ou não, ele acaba sentindo a pressão de, tem que ganhar, e isso não acaba acontecendo, né? Estes fatores interagem. Idade amplifica lesões, enquanto competição força tática arriscadas. Estudos fisiológicos, INS-CID, destacam que sua demanda de oxigênio em velocidades altas era baixa no auge, mas pode ter aumentado com a idade. Analistas contrapõem que Eliud Kipchoge adapta treinos para a recuperação, mantendo motivação alta. Perspectiva de especialistas e contrapontos. Opiniões variam com um consenso, é de transição, não um fim abrupto. Beck enfatiza, sua longevidade é mais impressionante agora, músculos ainda movem a nova geração. Longevidade adiciona profundidade, diferente de lendas que saem cedo. Resiliente, ajuste em treinamento, contrabalançam a idade. O coach Patrick Sang foca em sucessos passados, com duplos olímpicos, sem criticar o declínio. Contrapontos incluem riscos de manchar legado, persistindo, mas experts argumentam que inspirar amadores e jovens vale mais do que vitórias. Kipchoge, vamos abrir porque ele falou aqui, quero fazer algo, concentrar em fitness devagar. Então ele continua motivando atletas. É claro que qualquer pessoa, atleta amador como eu, como você, quer entrar numa prova onde Eliud Kipchoge está presente, cara, realmente ele não precisa mais provar nada para ninguém. Ele é simplesmente o maior maratonista de todos os tempos. Então ele já está aí. Então ter Kipchoge numa maratona é sempre uma honra. E agora, para finalizar aqui, atleta, implicações para o futuro e legado. Eliud Kipchoge planeja mais corridas, como completar todas as majors, falta a maratona de Nova York, e transitar para a filantropia via sua fundação e Unesco. Expert vê potencial em mentoria, promovendo valores como integridade. Seu impacto transcende resultados, redefiniu limites humanos, inspirando milhões. Embora o declínio seja real, analistas como Beck incluem, abre aspas aqui, ele é feliz com o movimento, a vida continua, fecha aspas. Em resumo, o declínio reflete dinâmicas naturais do esporte, mas Kipchoge vende uma história de persistência, mantendo relevância. Pô, isso é bem legal. Esse foi um resumo completo aqui, atleta, para você acerca não somente da Maratona de Tóquio 2024, mas também acerca desse atleta que nós tanto amamos, que é o Eliud Kipchoge, um atleta que inspira todos nós, não somente maratonista, mas todos aqueles que amam a corrida de rua, aqueles que amam o esporte, aqueles que amam o atletismo. E eu fico muito feliz de trazer para você aqui mais uma prova desse grandioso atleta queniano, Eliud Kipchoge, que sempre nos motiva. Fico feliz de ter você aqui no canal Corredores Trail e Asfalto. Meu nome é Rodrigo Tinoco, sou ultramaratonista, sempre treinando essas provas da corrida de rua, do atletismo, que nos inspiram e nos incentivam. Então, obrigado para você que assistiu o vídeo até aqui. Então, valeu, atleta, um abraço e que Deus abençoe você.